Welcome to Balls and Brews. Cheers, boys.
Cheers. Chuck to my left, Zach to my right. What are we drinking?
Stash Panda. That's a great name for a beer. It's by Hop Valley. They're out of Eugene, Oregon.
Hop Valley's got some good beers.
Yeah, they're typically a hop forward.
Correct.
Hop Valley makes sense to so. This is a hazy, as you can see. Definitely not a traditional IPA. Got a lot of body to it.
Correct.
Grapefruit notes is what it highlights, and I absolutely get that off the take.
Yeah, and then I don't get a lot of that hop, which I like a lot. But I'm not like, it's not like too hoppy. It's more of the juicy than the hoppy one.
Yeah.
We seem to find our way into at least one hazy every week.
Yep.
This seems to be the more straightforward of our beer selections, I suppose. But they're out of Eugene, Oregon, so shout out to the West Coast. They definitely know what they're doing.
What'd you say it drinks at?
6.5.
6.5.
6.5. So nothing good, right? Like
Yeah,
that's
a
what
decent,
you want. That's pretty much what you
percentage.
want. 6 to 7 is kind of your mid for
Yeah.
sure.
So, what is your guys' favorite season for beer? Like,
I think we all can attest to the idea that it's winter because that's when hops kind of go away for a little bit and you get the stouts that come out, you get all of those porters, you get browns, reds, you get the darker beers that start to work their way back through.
It's a good change, and
Right.
I always kind of look forward to it because it seems like the other season lasts longer, so you get kind of more variety, and you don't really get that variety for the porters and your darker beers during
yeah, I totally agree. I like
season.
that more. Yeah, I like that more variety of the porters and the darker beers. That's why I liked winter too. Let's jump into the NFL. We got some NFL news. Rodgers and Lamar were at OTAs. Rodgers had a calf strain, but it was good to see those guys showing up. Those are two guys that sometimes don't usually show up to OTAs, so it's nice that they're both there.
Well, Lamar was only not showing up because of his contract distribution. Like, now that he is signed, he's 100% there.
Yep.
Rodgers pretty much had to, right? Like,
I would have thought that last year too. When he did it.
No, but he was Green Bay's golden boy. He had that team in the palm of his hand. He doesn't in New York.
Correct.
Like, it's not to say that he doesn't have respect or command respect as a 4-time MVP and a Super Bowl champ, but he doesn't have it in New York the way he does in Green Bay. So he's got to put the right foot forward. Otherwise, that media would eat him alive, dude. That's not the middle of Wisconsin. That's New York fucking city. Like,
Yeah, and I think he handled it right. Like,
Agreed.
he jumped in both feet. Like,
Yeah.
you could tell that, maybe he soured on the Packers.
absolutely.
Well, at least some of the people there, whatever. So, I mean, he's doing everything. He's going to games. He's going to all events. He's being seen. He's starting to get that
hanging out with
love.
hanging out with the teammates, him and Sauce Gardner and stuff, hanging out at games. So yeah, I agree. He's doing all the right things.
Don't start pulling shit though, man. You ain't no spring chicken.
Yeah.
Get healthy.
Well, he just said it was a calf strain. That's all
I'm
he
sure
said.
he did.
And then we got another big news is Garoppolo had foot surgery in March,
Hidden
and
foot
then he
surgery.
was signed, knowing that too. He didn't pass the physical. There was a waiver that had to be signed. What's your guys' thoughts on?
If you knew this going into the draft, I don't know how you didn't go for a quarterback higher. I mean, that's Garoppolo already has his injury history, and then we're starting the season with not knowing when he's going to start.
Right. Yeah.
Which you had Stidham last year. Is he still there?
No, he signed with the Broncos.
Okay.
Hoyer, right?
So Hoyer, that's it. Oh my God, dude! You need a 40-year-old.
Aiden
Put a
O'Connell.
40-year-old
We took-
Brian Hoyer out
That's the
there.
situation,
Oh,
dude.
We
man.
took Aiden O'Connell, so maybe he.
That's right.
Maybe
that's
he
right.
jumps. Hoyer in that depth chart.
Hopefully,
Yeah,
just
it's
out
gotta
of
hope.
pure just hope and aspiration. You know what Brian Hoyer is. He's not going to do nothing for you.
No, he's there to hold the clipboard. That's all he's there for.
I think I also heard some reports about Adam being unhappy after finding out that information as well.
Devontae?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. How could you not be?
And the other big news, we had D-Hop getting released by the Cardinals. So the
That's
Cardinals
the-
have to eat $22 million still on dead cap.
Damn. That was
How do you not get just anything out. It's D-Hop.
Because nobody wants that contract.
Yeah, it's
so
the
contract
bad.
we had, that was such a bad contract.
It is.
So as you're reading all these articles, I started reading these articles and then I wrote down some numbers on what people had for cap money. It'd be cool to sign with the Bills, but they only have 1.5. The Chiefs only have 1 million in cap, so those two teams probably aren't in the running because he's not signing for that. And then I have the Saints at 13.6, the Panthers at 27.3, and the Cowboys at 10.6.
But here's my point to that: is the argument is they will find money. If D-Hop comes to you and is like, sign me, they'll find a way to renegotiate a big deal down, move it to a signing, but whatever they got to do.
They'll figure out a way to get money. But how much money is he going to want, though? That's the crazy.
I mean, he's not 20. He doesn't get 20. He's going to, 13?
Well,
15? What did Odell get? What did he get, 16?
15? He got 15.
Yeah, so he's gonna
get 20.
Well, I mean, he can point at that. He can point at that real easy.
It would be. It would be cool. I think it'd be cool him on the Saints with my Derek. I think that'd be a good weapon for them. And then I think that the Panthers. Could you imagine him added to the Panthers? That gives Brian. I don't know if that's a place that he's gonna want to go. But
maybe
then you have a quarterback.
Okay, if you are D-Hop, where do you want to go? You probably want to find a way to Buffalo.
Chiefs.
Yeah, I would say.
That's why those
Cowboys
get brought up first.
Even the Cowboys,
pair with CD.
The Eagles, no, maybe they got a lot of receivers.
Well, it was reported the Jets were going after Odell, so maybe they go after Hopkins as well.
Another one I thought of was the Lions.
Ooh, the Lions.
I did not see their cap money, I don't think.
No, they're right there on the back end with 10 mil or something.
But
10
that
or
would be a really cool spot too.
I think
the Lions.
Well, I would agree, but would he want to go there?
Correct. It's where he wants to go because he's a free agent now. So.
Sure. Well, yeah.
But money does talk.
Sure.
Yes.
And also, I think that he said he wanted to be. I don't know. Goff might hold up that transaction. One of his 3 talking points is that he wants a stable QB that is all about the game.
And Allen was his number 1 when he ranked him a couple weeks ago. So
was he like Josh Allen is trash?
Was he already putting it out there in that ranking, knowing that he was probably going to get released to already because he did his top 5 or top 10 quarterbacks or something that he played with or something.
It was smart if he did. That would be a smart play.
Put it out there, already it's out there, yeah. So, I mean, what do you guys think? Where do you guys I mean, obviously you want to see him in your uniforms, but what's a good landing
Honestly,
spot?
I was thinking about it, and to be fair, I don't think DeAndre Hopkins would come in and mesh with the team. Don't get me wrong, he would instantly upgrade any wide receiver core. I'm not saying that, but I just don't think that we have, this is going to sound absolutely insane, I don't think we have a spot for him in what we're trying to do offensively. We have DK who kind of fills that role
Well, just to add to that, I think that's where a lot of teams are now after the draft.
Sure.
In the free
you're not
agency.
thinking D-Hop's
This is just going to be an easy signing.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what he signs for money-wise because there's not a lot of teams now after all the free agency, like you said, and draft stuff, with money left. Everybody's, down those low numbers.
Well, Cleveland might be a landing spot for him. They don't. I mean, Amari Cooper's a good wide receiver, but he would make that instantly better.
Elijah Moore too.
That would be a good 1, 2, 3. Absolutely.
Well, him and Deshaun played together. How was that relationship?
Yeah, I don't think that they were amazing in Houston.
Dude, they killed it, dude. Great call, Trev. I didn't even think of that. Any other kind of headlines before we move on to NHL you guys want to touch on in football?
No, I think we're gonna crush that second segment for football, right? So we'll be back to the NFL in a little bit.
So let's give a shout out to the Panthers, 4-1 sweep, or gentleman's sweep. Yeah, gentleman's sweep. The Panthers getting the win over the in the series.
Carolina Hurricanes.
Yep. I mean the Panthers just keep rolling, guys. I mean they got those juices flowing. And then you got the Knights are only up 3-2 now. Stars got a big win last night. So that's where we're at in hockey. I mean, what do you guys think? Panthers are taking it? I think Chuck already said he thought the Panthers were gonna.
I mean, now that obviously the Kraken are out, my pony is out of the race. I don't want to see Vegas win because I don't want to hear Zach gloat.
I'm kind of pulling for Vegas at this point, just since I don't really have a team.
Fair enough.
State's in it.
There you go.
There we go, Chuck.
No, I don't want to see any team from Dallas win it. So, I guess I'm inherently pulling for the Panthers at this point.
All right, so let's jump into the NBA. The Lakers got swept. What do you think they need to do? I mean, Djokovic has played out of his mind. He was so dominant, and then Jamal Murray came out and just was absolutely shooting lights out. So
they let him get to that sweet little spot 13 feet from the cup and raise up. Like, he just little dot here, get into the lane, boop. Like, how do you not close that off after he's been putting up 25, 30 points on you game in and game out? Like, the Lakers were disappointing in this series after the series that they had with Golden State.
they needed not winning game 2. I think was the falling point. Anthony Davis had an awful game in game 2. Everybody else played really well. You know, you lost by 2 points, I think, or 6 points, but you had the lead and then let him come back in the fourth. Anthony Davis just wasn't a factor in that game offensively. So I think them losing that game was kind of the tipping point in the series.
And then you hear after the game LeBron make his comments about possible retirement, which we know aren't true.
It's just a media. It's like we talked about with D-Hop. He's putting it out there that, like, oh, I could retire. People are trying to speculate that he wants Kyrie. Please don't sign Kyrie.
He was at the games.
I know. Please don't sign
Well,
Kyrie.
that's where my question was going to go is, do you think that the current iteration of this roster is good enough if you add one more, or do you think you need to blow it up and start over
I think
again?
you keep Rui and Reeves, and then you obviously Davis and LeBron. But then I think, you know, instead of Kyrie, my point was Fred VanVleet out of Toronto. He's going to be a free agent this year too, and I think that'd be a nice piece to add as your point guard. He can score, he can start. Dennis Schroeder's just more of a defense guy. Dennis Schroeder's offense isn't there, and D'Lo played awful in this series.
He was not good.
So I heard it was reported also that Lakers management they like how the young guys played. They
want
came
to be-
together
absolutely.
pretty well. They think they should grow.
Yeah.
But with LeBron's comment, it almost makes you think like he's looking for
He
more.
wants Kyrie. That's
I
what all the
think-
speculation is, and I just don't understand it.
GM LeBron will take over. He always does. He gets what he wants. Like, that's been the fact of.
If you sign
the
Kyrie,
NBA.
though, that contract's going to
It's gonna be
kick
huge,
out
yes.
some of those players that you
That's
want to
why I
build
want-
or build with.
Yeah, because I think Rui and Austin Reeves, you both need to sign, so you got to get those guys. Like, those are two nice young players. And I do even like that Vanderbilt kid. He's not really an offensive player, but I love his versatility on defense. He can cover 1 through 4 at least. Sometimes if you have the smaller 5.
Now, you think that would be a good move moving forward for the Lakers, but putting on that GM hat, like, would you consider trading LeBron or AD?
I would trade AD. If you could get like a
I don't
Dame
think
or
LeBron
somebody.
is allowed to be traded. I'm sure he's probably got a no trade clause.
I don't know if I trade LeBron, but AD, he's just, gosh, man, when he's on, he is on. But that's only 50% of the time.
You're lucky if it's 50% of the time.
You know?
I mean,
Like,
Yeah, I agree with you. Even with LeBron's age, just like you said, just his concerns, AD's concerns. I think you move on, get what you can. Dude, I really see them trying to make that Kyrie thing work
too.
though.
they're
since
gonna.
LeBron
No,
is there.
they're going to. No, that you can put this on wax right here. That Kyrie will be a Laker. Since there has to be no negotiation other than money, the Lakers will find a way to get money. Like, it's LA. It's a soft cap. They'll pay the royalty fees or whatever. They don't give a shit.
That's why I want Fred.
Like-
That's why I want Fred. I think he's like averages like right about that 20 points. He's a good player. I think he'd be great in that role.
But
That's
right, no, and if you're Pelinka, that's probably the better move than bringing in a guy like Kyrie, who has stated multiple times basketball is not his first priority,
Right.
which is fine, dude. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and shit on your life and tell you how to live it, but
But
like,
I don't want that player.
that's what I'm saying. I want the dude who's like, ball first, bro, ball.
Yeah.
Let's talk it, let's live it, let's go. Like, we got to win a chip this year, not next year. Like, not caring about chips. Like,
Correct. And then the other series.
is insane right now.
Celtics tied it up last night.
That's a bigger piece of news for sure.
3-3. Is this, if they lose, if the Celtics win tomorrow night in Game 7, is this the biggest collapse?
It's history either way.
I was going to say, statistically, it has to be. Like, at least in
Yes.
the NBA, yeah. Like,
No
it's
team has
never
come
happened before, yeah.
Down 3, and no 8 seed has been to the finals. So no matter who wins,
And 8
it'll
seeds
be-
never made the finals?
Correct.
Wow.
So it'll be history either way.
Good shit.
Wow.
And,
Good call on that, Trev.
Also, I mean, just to throw it out there, none of us picked the Nuggets at the beginning of the season.
No, we
I
doubted
still-
that defense. We
I
doubted
still-
the ability to do it in the playoffs.
Yeah,
we did.
We did. And man, we got to shoot them some love because they
Yeah.
have just been playing great. They look like the most cohesive team.
Cohesive.
Yeah,
Cohesive.
That's the
Sure.
word.
Yeah, but their length is outrageous.
Yes, man.
When
Great
you
length.
have Joker, Aaron Gordon, and Porter Jr.,
Porter
dude, that's a lot of length, man. And then if Jamal
And athleticism.
and
too.
athleticism, great call. Those other two, I mean, Djokovic is just, dude, watching him
Yeah.
play is.
And you even have like
It's
Murray
such an
setting screens for the
anomaly,
Joker. Like
right?
it doesn't matter.
It's
because-
such an
yeah,
anomaly
so-
to watch him play about. He's so lumberous and like you don't think he's going to be able to do the things that he does, but his court vision is insane. His
Amazing.
spacing, his
Amazing.
hands. He's got the best hands I've ever seen.
He just like gets a finger on it and he's getting the rebound. He just like tips it to him, dude.
He understands the spacing on the floor so well
Yeah.
and where to put balls, to lead guys, to get it in between double, whatever.
Wish
like
he was on my team.
He is just insane in that fight. You cannot teach shit like that. Like that is so impressive. Step up your defense though, Jokic. Come on, bro.
But then you know you got KCP that they went out and got this year too, and then they
Oh,
got
which
Chris,
I know he loves
and
sweeping the Lakers.
and
I
then
know
Chris
he
Brown,
loved that.
They went out and got Chris Brown. He's coming off their bench. He played lights out in that series
Dude.
against the Lakers too. So.
So are you taking the
expecting that
Nuggets
sweep.
then, regardless of who
taking
comes out of the
I'm
East?
taking the Nuggets regardless.
I am too, and I wouldn't have said that last week, maybe even.
Sure,
Just
sure.
watching them, how they play.
I don't know,
against the
man.
Lakers.
I
Yes.
did call the Celtics, so I still got to ride that pony. I'm still
Yeah.
on that goddamn pony.
At least you got a pony. Me and Trevor.
Hey, it's the
Me
only
and
thing
Trevor
I've been.
have a while.
It's the only thing I've been fucking decent at so far this year in predictions. Everything else has been trash, basura.
It has. So what else we got in the first? You guys got any talk more any Lakers?
No.
Oh, and I know Chuck's got a couple shout outs. Go for it, pal.
I'm going to move off of the NBA.
Yep.
I think that closes out our NBA. One of the things that the headlines that I want to love, it's a small little fandom that I want to put in here is how I think soccer around the world gets the idea of relegation season correct. I love this. I love that if you are bad, that you have to move down. And you don't get to play the best of the best competition if you're not the best of the best. Could you imagine if every major there's plenty of baseball teams, good God. You could relegate baseball teams wherever the heck you wanted to. Like, you could do the same thing with hockey and with basketball. You got the G League, and now if the XFL were to take off, you could have a potential one for the NFL. Could you imagine? There'd be no concept of tanking, trying to get the first overall pick. Like, you want to make sure you stay in the NFL.
I think
relegation.
that would create chaos, though. Like cities, would
Owners
go
wouldn't
fucking
have it, yeah,
crazy.
for sure.
Owners
Like,
would never vote on it.
it would never happen, but just it's so good. It's
I
the
could see
absolute spirit of competition. That is like the
I could see it
foundation
in
of
college
it.
football. Like
Sure.
if we did that thing that
That
I
would
was
make
talking
more
about,
sense.
how I want to put all the better teams in one
In a
division.
super conference kind of thing.
And then you play like you make it like the NFL, where you take all your best teams and make divisions, and you have 32 teams. Like you pick the best out of the SEC, best Pac-10.
I
all
really
that,
like that idea.
and put them in. And then if you, do
I think
suck,
eventually we'll get
you
something
could.
towards that.
Well, it should be because there's no. We have
They've
this-
already stripped away the pageantry
Correct.
and the
We've already
tradition
had-
and
we-
all that crap. It's all about money. It's all
Since he
about
made it, and they did it, since he had a good team that year. But we're not going to see that most likely. Yeah, well, they're bumping it up to 12.
I was gonna
which is
say,
stupid,
which
yeah.
don't like that
Never mind.
either. You go from
Yeah.
4 to 12. We didn't even stop at 6 or 8. We just blow right on to 12. The fuck out of here.
So I could see it in college football, like Vanderbilt gets kicked out of the SEC and has to go down because they can't play.
You're smart, but you can't play football, Vandy.
And
Jay
they play
Cutler, you
baseball,
suck.
though. They're usually pretty good at
They're
baseball.
very good at baseball. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. And then the last shout out. Speaking of well, it's not baseball. It's softball. The ladies softball. The NCAA national championship tournament's going on, and that's always fun to watch, man. Those ladies play their asses off, dude. Like that's normally good competitive softball,
Is in
baseball.
Oklahoma like 49 straight wins or something?
Yeah, they are just absolutely crushing.
They had
right
to
now.
come
Yeah,
back.
they're-
They had
That's
to
a
come back.
program.
They had to come back last night.
Well, they're in the Super Regionals right now. I believe it's like, which basically equates to the Sweet 16, if you will. So they're working down to the Natty title right now. But yeah, dude, shout out to the ladies. That's a good time.
All right, we'll take a break. We're going to get another beer, and we'll see you guys with our next segment. We're going to break down the NFL skill positions and who we like and who we don't like.
Absolutely, that's gonna be a lot of fun. Cheers.
Cheers. Welcome back to Balls and Brews. Cheers, boys.
Cheers. What are we drinking?
That's
Interesting.
got a lot of flavor going on.
Yeah.
Interesting. Juice Drops. That's what it's called. I like that. It's by Untitled Art. I found this at Craft. That's my favorite bottle room / cellar that we have here in Reno. And we've tried a couple of these guys' beers on this pod already, and they've both been really good. So I knew this would be right up our alley. They are out of Waunakee, Wisconsin, I believe is how you say that. Yeah. Peach Necroton IPA. So you can definitely get the peach on
You
that,
definitely
right?
get the peach.
Yes.
You definitely get
Good.
the peach.
That's always
You
nice.
get those hops. It is a hoppier beer.
So more hops than
More
the
hops
Stash
than
Panda than we just
Correct.
had. Okay.
100%. Don't you think?
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree.
Yeah.
But the peach does shine through big time. As
It
you can
does.
see in the color of the beer, it is kind of, I would say, a hazy as well, if you will. It's definitely not as clear as a normal IPA. But drinks at 7.5, so
7.5.
a little bit up. You know, one or
Yeah.
two of those, you're feeling pretty good. Especially because
Definitely.
they come in 16 ounces, you know, so... yeah, shout out to Untitled Arts. I've really began to enjoy this brewing company. So
Is that so? You say Craft is your favorite place to go to get beer? That's like your.
they
that's your spot?
so like they are they're just the most eclectic. They have beers that you don't find anywhere else in town in that cellar, and like they rotate quite often, and they also represent locals and they do all that, but like they're overseas, their imports, like they have stuff that I have never found anywhere
Really?
else.
Okay.
And you know, you're gonna pay for it. Like
Yeah.
it's exclusive or expensive, small batch stuff. You know, it could be anywhere from $20 to $30 a bottle, depending on what the beer is and how limited of run or whatever. So you gotta really want it.
What would your two be in Reno? Do you like
Two?
Lee's? I like Lee's a lot.
I really liked Lee's when it first came out, and I really liked Total Wine as well. But honestly, number 2 for sure is Pinion. Bottle.
Okay.
So that is another little tap room / bottle shop that's in Midtown, and their cellar, their coolers.
Legit.
Coolers are pretty legit. Yeah, I've gotten several samples that we've had on here from them. So Craft 1, Pinion 2. There's also a really good place out in way out in Sparks off of Spanish Springs called the Final Drought that they have a couple of coolers.
Okay.
Yeah. Their tap room, and they have a couple of coolers out there that blew my mind. I was like, wow, I didn't think, something out here would have shit like this. But so
Nice.
honorable mention to them. But yeah, first Craft, man. If you're listening in Reno and you like beer, go
Yes.
check them out.
All right, we're going to jump into skill position. So we're going to do like we always do. We're going to go east, east, north, south, west. So let's jump in. Let's start with the NFC.
So what this is gonna be a breakdown of wide receivers, running backs, tight ends.
Just
So-
skill position. We're not
Right.
going to bring the quarterback into it yet.
And it's
We'll
going to
do-
be a conglomerate grade, right?
Correct.
It's like we're going to break down position groups, but then it will all be an overall how we feel about it cohesively
Yep.
for that team. But yes, excellent.
100%.
I love this so much, you guys. So I want to hear before we even get into it, your favorite skilled position players down in the comments below. All right, that's great. Whatever team you support, who you shout now, who's going to bust out big time for your team. I know we're probably going to get nothing but 49er comments, but you know what? I want to hear you talk about CMC because he's going to crush it. But anywhere else, reach out, definitely. We're going to start off with the NFC East, like Zach said, Dallas Cowboys. So the big news there is Tony Pollard, because Zeke has officially been, he's not re-signed there yet. Jerry Jones said the door is still open there, but
He's going to have to take a substantially less contract.
right, and also a very less role. He knows that he wouldn't be RB1. They are rolling with Pollard right there. That is for sure the right move. Backing him up is going to be Ronald Jones. And
Oh, that's right.
yeah, he moved over, and this kid named Malik Davis. So honestly, behind Pollard, they're kind of light.
Yeah, they don't really have the pounder. I mean, Ronald's kind of.
He can be, but
he's not. And I think that they need a two back. They need another back.
Sure. Which if Zeke
Paul,
could
I
be
don't
a
know.
two back,
I don't
that
know,
could still work.
because he'd be the pounder. He'd be the heavy
Right.
hitter.
Then you got your wide receivers. You're looking at CeeDee Lamb.
Good.
They just traded for Brandon Cooks. That's going to be a slot
I
guy.
think that's a sneaky good move.
And Michael Gallup probably rounds out your top three. We could get into much more deeper than that, but we should really go the three that you're going to.
Well, let's go with 4 and 5.
Okay.
To see who they are.
4 and 5 is going to be nobody that you ever really heard of, man. These rosters right now: Jalen Tolbert, Kavonte Turpin,
Jalen
Simi
Tolbert,
Fehoko.
Jalen Tolbert's that kid out of like South.
Yeah, they drafted him last year. Did they draft a wide receiver this year?
Not that I know of. I don't believe so. No.
I have to look at that back up, but I don't think so.
Okay.
So after 3, man, that's a struggle. Tolbert's all right, but I mean, after that, they really don't have another like.
So yeah, your 5 wide isn't looking epic in Dallas so far. They do put out there tight end, and there was Jake Ferguson, that kid. I remember him playing a little bit behind Dalton Schultz last year.
But then they drafted the next kid, I think, who's on the depth chart, right?
It would be no, not even Alexa, but Shoemaker out of Michigan. Yeah, tall, long,
he's
pass catching.
And a blocker. I think he's a blocker.
He's a Michigan boy. He's got to do some blocking.
Yes, for sure. So it's
honestly, top end pretty well. Pollard, CeeDee Lamb can carry that pretty damn far.
I do like the Cooks.
B addition.
Yeah, it's a mid
B,
if not
maybe B minus. Yeah,
it's more of the B minus.
Okay.
Because I don't love the depth at running back, and I don't.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, no, the starter's good, depth not so much there.
Yep, and I don't love your
B minus.
All right, let's jump into the Giants. Trev.
Let's get into it, money.
All right, of course. Starting with the running back, Saquon.
He hasn't signed it yet.
I guess that's true. That is an if. That is a big if.
It's a really big if.
It's a really big if.
He hasn't signed, right?
His voice is just pleasure as well. And they gave him a good opening contract, too. They didn't try to shine him.
No, they offered him 12.
Yeah.
That's what 3 points was. But as we're talking these running backs, Eckler wanted out. Nobody wanted to go get him. The running back market is not moving.
Well, it's just younger.
Yeah, they don't want the older back.
Well, yeah, especially since we're past the draft now.
Correct.
So, I mean, behind him, Breida,
former
San Francisco player, Speedster.
Yeah.
And then Eric Gray, I believe, was the rookie.
He's the rookie. He's
out of Oklahoma.
We like that draft pick.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
So that's a solid room.
Not bad.
Not
bad. Yeah.
As long as they get
they're all versatile.
If Saquon comes back, it's a solid room.
Sure, agreed.
Moving on to wide receiver. Now, this is where it's a bit of a mess. We knew this last season. This season, it's a little bit better. Of course, returning Darius Slayton is in there.
He can play, man. That kid can play.
Yeah, that's the name that kind of pops off for the receivers because the other, Isaiah Hodgins,
had a couple of games, but still don't know what he is.
Paris Campbell
came from the Colts.
Right, he can play. He can play. These are a bunch of 2s and 3s, though.
But I think that the thing with Slayton and Campbell, though, they got to stay on the damn field.
Sure,
because they also signed Sterling Shepard, who's going to be like their leader in the clubhouse guy. Like he's like the.
He's the
veteran.
He's the veteran. Right. I mean, they also got Jamison Crowder, and they drafted that.
I did not know that. And they have Wandale Robinson. We didn't
Jalen Hyatt and Wandale Robinson.
We just named 6 or 7. So for God's sake, some of them got to have some talent somewhere. Right?
It's like that.
There's just no ones.
Yeah,
there's just no ones.
They're all like that middle, like
2s, 3s.
Is Jalen Hyatt going to become the one? I mean, I was kind of big on him. I thought he was 4 or 5.
You said back end first round is where.
Yeah, I thought the Chiefs might have went for him back in first round.
What I think they got to be hoping for though, because his other names.
So good, not great wide receiver.
But
potential.
I think there's better depth. You don't have the CD Jam,
but
there's better depth in the Cowboys.
Okay. All right, and what about tight ends? They just got Waller, right?
Yeah, Waller, of course, being on top.
Health. Best ability is
availability.
You guys, we preach it I'm gonna find a way to get it into every pod, dude. Come on, that has got to be it, especially going into the NFL season.
Right.
Get your shit right.
But the backup tight ends for Waller, I don't know. Daniel Bellinger,
no, he can ball, man. He had a good year last year before
he was okay. Yeah, he was okay.
I remember him kind of coming out. Yeah, he was.
Lawrence Kager.
Yeah, no. Okay, so overall, I would say solid running back room with Saquon's there. Good, not great wide receivers, and the potential to have a great tight end in Waller. So off of potential, that's a BB plus.
Correct.
The way it sits, it's a BB minus. Right? That's how I feel.
Yeah, I'm like a B. I'm a little bit more than the Cowboys
skill positions. Better than the Cowboys.
Just because, I think the running back room's better.
Agreed.
I think that the wide receiver, you don't have CD, but I think you have way more depth.
You have more depth, but you don't have that guy.
You don't have the guy, which is a problem.
That guy's a
which is a
big
problem.
piece.
In the NFL these days, the wide receiver you have to
But
have,
Darren-
or at least
Darren-
one that could be that dude.
But
See, that's
Darren
the point
Waller
you're
could
about
be
to
the
get.
dude.
Agreed.
Because when we get jumping into the Chiefs, we're going to look at their wide receivers.
Yeah, and then
But
Kelsey.
then you have Kelsey.
True. I mean,
for
So
sure.
if
for
Waller's,
sure.
If Waller's
if plays the 17 games and with Saquon, you got a lot of. I think it's a B. I don't know if I want to go B plus, but it's definitely. I like
I'd
it
probably
better.
go closer to the B.
I like it more than the Cowboys skill positions.
All right.
So let's jump into the Eagles. So in the running back,
defending
defending
NFC champs.
So let's jump into the running back room. They have 4 dudes. You have Swift, Rashad Penny, Kenneth Gainwell, and Boston Scott. So my problem with I think all those are 2s.
But I think that they're okay with that because they all kind of know that and it's going to be rotational. None of them are going to be like, I need to be the dude. They're going to understand each one of them is going to get 7. And then if you're smart, you ride the hot hand, right?
Correct.
You pick whoever has popped that game. If it's Penny, if it's Gainwell, if it's Swift.
Penny's got that same ability.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Swift is a game breaker
Him
when
too.
he's hot. He's got to stay on the field as always,
Yep.
but like that guy is crazy good in the open field, and he can make you miss. He can run through you. Yeah.
Same with Gainwell.
Yeah, absolutely. Gainwell is shifty as all get out, dude.
He
He
is.
did a lot of good balling in the playoffs for the Eagles this
Yeah.
last year.
So then the wide
Good
receiver.
room, great room, great room.
I think it's a solid room.
Yeah.
Health,
Health, as always.
Swift and Penny at the top,
Right.
both injury dudes.
Sure, which is why Gainwell and Scott in the background is a really
Yes.
good fucking fallback.
Wide receiver room, we got AJ Brown, Devontae
Stud.
Smith, and then after
Most
that
stud.
you have Quez Watkins, Tyree Cleveland, and Devin Allen. There's not really anybody after. As I looked at that, I was very surprised when I read
Top
that,
heavy.
that you have 2 legit receivers in Smith and Brown, and then you don't even have. I don't know. Is Quez? I don't really know if Quez is the. I don't know much about Quez.
Out of those names, that is quite just for that system. Like
Correct.
he's that little speedster slot guy that, like, even though Devontae can also play the slot, he's very small. Put on some size, Devontae, please.
So the receiver room is not
Top
not
end,
impressive.
just like the Cowboys, just good top, low bottom.
And then you have as your tight end, you have Dallas Goddard, which he's good.
Good health, but great.
Health, and then after that you got Dan Arnold and Jack Stroll. So no like
Dan Arnold can play. He had some
Right.
good games in Carolina. So
Good backup.
good
he's
tight ends.
He's a good backup.
Good tight ends, not
Goddard,
great.
yeah, Goddard kind of holds that pretty heavy on easily the number 1 in that. Really.
Man, okay, so I'm high.
I think it's like right there with that B
I
minus.
get no. I go B plus, honestly.
I was
I go
more
B
B
plus.
plus.
I go B plus because AJ Brown is an animal.
Yeah.
I go B plus
because your 2 wide receivers are
So
super
good.
legit.
thousand yarders going in, along with the ability to have Dallas Goddard at tight end be a
Be
receiving
750,
threat big time for
750,
sure.
something
So
like that.
yeah,
So,
no, and
yeah.
that running back room is solid, and we have to go off of our past experiences, but you
Correct.
have to go into this year hoping and expecting that everybody's if everybody's healthy in that room and they can rotate,
Yeah.
that is an A room. So I give them B plus over.
So I'm gonna go B. I'll move up from a B minus to a B. I
Okay.
still just don't. Yeah.
So we
Not a
haven't
lot of
given
that,
any
because
A's or any C's yet. We're all so the NFC East so
Yeah.
far is
My one
close.
worry is that
Sure.
if your AJ goes down,
Oh,
which
yeah.
then you really
once
have
again
no room.
prognosticating injuries
Correct.
though is
Yeah,
not
you don't want to
something.
go. Yeah, I don't. I like AJ too. I'm a
Oh,
big
he's
fan
an
of AJ.
animal.
I'm a
And
big
he's
fan.
well spoken. I like AJ Brown too.
So yeah, so let's last team in the NFC East
It's
is
the Washington
Commanders.
football team.
I kind of can't wait to hear this.
This is a weird one.
Yes, I
they
think I
actually
like
have
it.
some really good
That's
fucking
what
players.
I think
you
they
guys.
were maybe out
Their
there
running
first
backs,
eight.
Brian Robinson Jr. and Antonio Gibson, are a great one
Dude,
too.
good
Chris
backers.
Rodriguez is a third, and Jarrett Patterson is their fourth. I've never heard of those
No,
other two
the
guys.
two
to be fair.
top dudes are really nice, really nice.
Wide receivers go Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, and Curtis Samuel as their 1, 2, 3.
Jahan Dotson came on last season.
Agreed. No,
Yes,
they
Out of
did.
TCU, correct? Dotson was out
No,
of TCU.
Penn State.
Was he Penn,
Penn
State?
State.
Oh, that's
Penn
right.
State,
Okay.
yes.
He's a speedster.
Yeah, so Curtis Samuel can play,
Yeah.
and then they don't have depth though. These guys, Daynami Brown, Dax Milne, Marcus Kemp, Casimir Allen, Zion Bowens. I've never heard of these dudes. So
you're-
1, 2, 3, you got speed and you got dependability, but I've
Right.
never heard of any of those other guys.
Yeah, and I do. I'm a big fan of Terry, but he's not
Scary
AJ.
Terry.
He's not AJ. He's a stud, but he's not AJ.
Then you got Logan Thomas.
As tight end, I like him.
Yeah, availability, bro.
Correct.
Always fucking hurt. He's tall. He's
tall.
You know, like
Yeah,
he's
I like-
the Jimmy Graham prototype at tight end. He's got
I like
good
him.
hands, like not the greatest blocker, but can absolutely get you 5 catches for 75 and a tud.
Correct.
Like he's just got to get on the fucking field. John Bates behind him and Cole Turner behind that. So once
Cole
again,
Turner, Nevada. What's
yeah.
up?
So I mean, but unproven overall.
No,
so.
I actually thought he'd be really good in the league with size.
So
He's
you're
outside.
looking at once again front end is actually pretty solid, but
No
not
depth.
a lot of depth, especially not at the wide receiver position. You go down there B minus.
Yeah, because it's same because you don't have that dominating tight end like a Darren Waller. You don't have Terry McLaurin's sick, but he's not like
because it's not as bad enough to say a C plus. I would give it a
Right.
B minus. I agree.
Correct.
I agree.
I'm closer to a B here, just
Really?
because I
Okay.
think the running backs in the top of the wide receiver, the 1, 2, 3 is better. It's the best in the conference, right?
You think like
1, 2, 3 for wide
for a
receiver?
wide receiver?
yeah maybe.
Yes, because the 3 is
Because
better.
the
The
three is
3 is
better.
better in Washington. Although AJ Brown
Wait,
is so
but-
nasty in
but-
Philly, dude.
But you have but you have CeeDee Lamb, Cooks, and Galladay. I don't know. That might be the best 3. Gallup.
That could
Gallup,
be.
Gallup, correct.
Yeah, Gallup could be.
What
Because
happened
Gallup's
to
got-
Kenny Galladay? Good God.
Gallup's got to come back off the
fleeced
ACL.
the Giants.
He had a so he got hot kind of they think at the end of the year, but I do like the Cook sign. I think that is a good.
Okay,
sign.
so you're still leaning B though.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
So
still
B minus B.
I
So
mean, yeah,
we're pretty
close.
close there. All right, so we're gonna go ahead. That's the whole NFC. So overall, we're looking at
It's a very it was all pretty close.
right.
Yeah,
but
no.
I gave my only B plus to the Giants. To be fair,
Correct.
that's
I did
where I
too.
gave my B plus.
I gave them a B plus too.
Yeah.
I
Because
gave
the
him a
wall.
B, so I'm a.
So technically, if you average it out, the Giants win the NFC East on their skill positions.
And I just really like that.
Really?
I didn't really.
That's
I
crazy.
didn't realize
I
that.
agree because you would have leaned Cowboys without the break,
I didn't-
or in Philly even, right?
I didn't. Yeah, I just didn't realize that the Giants had so much depth at wide receiver, and I think that not having the one, but if Waller, it's all about health for them. Saquon and Waller get hurt, that team is not good offensively. Those two are like two of the legit. You probably two of the more legit players in the league at each of their respective positions. So. Let's jump into the AFC East. So we're going to start with the Buffalo Bills.
All
Get
right,
it.
into the Bills. Now, with the changes that they made, they have Cook listed as their number 1
I saw
running
that.
back.
Yeah, because Singletary's gone.
Yep, and then
Yeah, and they brought in Harris from
Yep,
the Patriots.
yep.
He's projected to be the 2.
I think they're gonna. I think honestly, by the time it really plays out, Harris is gonna be the one.
I do too.
Harris is the more proven.
I think
back.
Cook's more, and I think Cook's more that
Spell
like
guy.
scat. Yep, that scat back. He's not.
I agree.
Harris is an Alabama running back.
Correct.
Run him into the ground.
They have a really good running back.
Yeah,
They
who's
got
the third one?
Latavius Murray
That's
and Naheem Hines.
Dude,
filling
they
out the
actually have
rim.
a really heavy room because Latavius is going to be the dude that's just going to be your
Guy
pounder.
pounds. He still does, even at like 30,
I
31. I know
I
he was
wish we-
getting
I
up there.
wish
He
we
had a
would've
pretty
got-
solid year in Denver last
I wish
year.
we wouldn't have got rid of him as when we got rid of him.
That
to
was
the
quite a
Saints.
while ago.
Yep.
I like that team building too. They got 2 similar backs and 2 similar backs.
Correct. I
Okay.
like that. I like
good
the
back room. Good
two
back room for
pounders
sure.
and 2 scats. That's
Yeah.
not bad.
All right, wide receivers hit us. All right,
I still wish
so-
they had a better back. Like,
overall,
I wish
sure.
their one was better.
Sure, that's backed by committee once again,
Correct.
for sure.
Correct.
So moving on to the wide receivers, of course, Diggs leading the way, number
Yeah.
1, easy.
That's
Gabe
great. That guy's
Davis,
so fun to
Yeah,
watch.
Dave Davis. He's not
he's
bad.
been the 2.
He's
He
been the
just
two
had
for-
a bad year last year. I was hyped
was
going
weird.
into his year.
He's
like,
kind of, I think he's a dude. He's like
I just don't know. The connection didn't look like it was
No,
there
he's
with
kind of
Allen last year. It looked
Yeah.
like forced. Allen looked like he was trying to force him the ball
Correct.
rather than when you see him in Diggs and it's like timing is perfection.
Correct.
Like so.
100%.
Yeah, he could still. He has the ability to still be an awesome number 2, but based off of last year, he was kind of mid.
Correct. I agree 100% on that.
Yeah, I'm with you there too. And then with their 3rd spot, they have the draft pick out of Boise that they took last year.
Correct.
Shakir.
Yep. I think he's. I like to see what he can become.
You guys, we didn't name Jordan Addison getting drafted to. Oh no, he got drafted to Minnesota. I'm sorry.
Slow
I'm
down.
sorry.
How come you're fucking
I'm
up
sorry.
the Minnesota receivers all the
Well,
time?
because
All the time.
For some reason, I thought he went to me because that's where he was
going on
mocked.
over here?
I'm sorry. Life happens quick.
Back to the Buffalo
The
Bills.
light. I thought the light turned on. It did not. Wait, I had an idea.
But after that, then
It's
the
a little
names
shaky.
are a little shaky. Like I recognize Trent Sherfield because
Sure,
he's a
Niner,
Niner,
former
right?
Niner, right?
But
Unproven.
yeah, then there's a lot of names.
Special teams
that
guy.
I don't know.
Give
We
it to
got
us.
Justin Shorter.
Nope.
Oh, Justin Shorter, yeah, he's.
Oh, here we go. Let's go down.
They just drafted. I think he's
He was a
out
draft
of.
pick?
Yeah, either
I know
last
they
year-
drafted a wide
And
receiver.
last year he might have been drafted. I think he's
Okay.
out of, no, he might have been after this draft. Do you think he's from Florida?
All right,
Click
all
on
right.
it.
So,
Click on it. Hold on, Chuck.
we're
Yep,
diving-
Florida. You got
Told
it.
you, Florida.
He knows.
Yes.
He knows.
I was
All
on
right,
it.
good,
How can
good.
I?
Well, tell these guys. Don't tell me. Tell
Well,
these
we
guys.
are telling.
I mean, they call him Shorter, but he's 6'4", 223 listed.
Hey, okay,
Dude, he's
tiny.
big boy.
He's
Okay,
big
tiny.
All right, and then Dante Harty.
Yeah.
Oh, Isaiah Cutler.
Yeah.
Yeah, so-
they got a Keyshawn Johnson.
Hey.
Oh, that's tight. So you literally, so again, a legit one, a 2 that could be good, a 3 that we're hoping can be good, and then
Right,
a
so
4,
not a solid,
and then
not
a-
a solid wide receiver,
and then a 4
outside
that
of
we,
Diggs.
and then a 4 that we're hoping is going to be good as well, and the kid from Florida. So you're
You have Diggs and a bunch of questions.
correct.
Okay,
I like
tight
that.
ends.
I like that.
Tight ends, all right. Knox, he's been there. He's got better last season.
But the next one is the dude.
But the next one is the dude, yeah. Kincaid is who
Kincaid.
they drafted in
They
the
moved
first
up
round.
to get him to snag him over Dallas.
He's gonna be. So
He's gonna be the guy.
In some of these teams, these tight ends are like the number 4 receiver / the number 1 receiver. With the Giants, Darren Waller is the number 1.
I think
on this
Kincaid
team,
moves
he's
up
the
to
number
2.
2 or 3, depending on if Gabe Davis shows up. So I think, man,
I like
and
it.
Knox too. You could potentially have
Run
like a
that
nice
double
2
tight
tight end
sets.
set. Correct.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think I like the tight end room.
Yeah, but that elevates it. But I don't know if it goes past the B. I don't like that wide receiver room,
Yeah.
and they have a good running back. They have good depth at running back, but
Good
not
group.
the dude. Once again,
Correct.
B.
B. It's a
B.
B. It's a
B.
B because
God, I
I think,
feel like I'm just repeating myself, but eventually something will pop.
well, it's the cap that does some of it too. Like
Yeah.
you start paying the number 1 receiver, that's hard to have.
Well, and
5 or
especially
6
if you hit the
receivers.
quarterback. Allen's taking up a lot of that salary cap.
quarterback costs some.
All right, so let's jump into the Miami Dolphins, who I think this might be one of our A's. Running back room is 3 dudes that are all just flying down the field.
Mostert, Jeff Wilson,
Mostert, Jeff Wilson, Devin,
Arkine, right?
Akane, ACH, I think it's Akane,
He was the
from
rookie.
Texas A&M, and Miles Gaskin. All flyers. They just fucking run. This whole team just fucking
Speed.
runs.
This team
So,
kills speed.
is Mostert your one? Is Wilson your one? Because they're more running back come my committee too. I think right with those 2 kind
Why
of.
wouldn't he be?
Right.
Yeah.
So you're just trying to get them.
I really think they're looking for the rookie probably to take over if he pops.
Dude, he is another dude that if he gets that, gone.
That might
Gone.
legit be an A class right there.
And then let's go into the wide receivers. Wide
Tyreek
receiver
Hill.
room: Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle,
Nasty, so
Cedric
nasty.
Wilson Jr. So no,
Kind of fell off. Had a bunk year last
had a
year.
weird year, but
could-
dude, you have to another team where your 2 dudes are 2 dudes.
Sure. Oh yeah, no. That's
Two
a
dudes.
great one too.
After that, you have Robbie Chosen, Braxton Berrios, and River Kraft. So you're not
Berrios is a shifty little shit. He played really well out in New York. Like he'd be that slot guy that offsets Waddle and.
Well, they have Cedric Wilson Jr. and
Right
Wilson's
there you go.
out,
Sure. No, but I still like that room. Still like that.
Tight
room.
end room's a little weak. Durham Smythe, Tyler Croft, and Eric Schwarber. They lost what's his name to the Gesicki to the that tight end class
Drags him down.
They drafted Croft this, so they're
Right.
probably hoping he pops.
Right, but that's hope. You can't
Yeah,
can't
that's all
prognosticate. An A season.
And
out of
I was a fan of Croft. No, this isn't that Croft.
Mm.
That Croft went to the Packers. This
Packers,
Croft's out
that's
of
right.
Rutgers. This isn't. So no, they
That's
didn't
right.
take a tight end. Remember
That's
they had
right.
like so many picks.
Thank you.
So then, that's right. They only had like 4, right?
Yeah.
Or
So
some
running
shit?
back room solid and
wide receiver
room
solid, elite almost at wide receiver,
but
almost.
no a tight end that's
Strong
abysmal.
tight end.
So
B
I'm
plus,
going with
B
a B plus
plus,
because
B plus.
I do love your two.
I love that
dudes
running back room.
and the running back
I
room.
love
is
that
a
running
lot
back
of
room
speed.
too. Yeah, B+.
Great 1-2 receiver, good running back.
Right.
Great.
So
Carry it pretty far.
yeah, so that's the Dolphins. Man, that's a lot of speed on that team.
Way quick. That's what they're banking on is the home run hits. They're not going
Correct.
to nickel and dime you. They're going
No.
to fucking
They
bomb
want
you.
to
move. They want to push
15, 20 yards
tempo.
all the time.
For
down
sure.
the field.
All right, on to the boringest team in the NFL
Maybe
right now, you guys.
C
Come on.
to D.
New England
fucking
Patriots.
F.
The New England Patriots.
Dude, it's not a good room.
All right, so the one that I do like right here off the top, running back Ramondre Stevenson, he came on quite well last year for them. That's why they let Damian Harris go. So he is a good RB1. He can do a lot. Behind him, James Robinson, which is funny. He's a 1,000-yard rusher. I was going to say he was an undrafted rookie that came
I can't
out,
believe that the
and then he got
Jaguars
scooted
over.
out by Travis Etienne, and so
I like him.
right, I agree. I think that one too is good. And then
Good
Pierre
pickup.
Strong, I never heard of that homeboy. They have tabbed at 3. So wide receivers go Juju. They picked up Juju in free agency. Devontae Parker.
Which once he left the Dolphins, he kind of. I mean, you don't do much in New England.
Good, not great.
Both of them kind
He's
of.
always had health concerns.
Tyquan Thornton. He was a rookie.
He's got to explode.
And he's got to come out healthy. He was hurt
Yes.
almost his entire rookie
Right.
year. And then you got guys like Kendrick Bourne, who can also play.
Yeah.
He's a rotational
okay.
guy.
Yeah, he's all right.
Kayshawn Booty is actually how you pronounce that. Booty, which is funny. LSU. And Demario Douglas. So, I mean, fair wide receivers. Fair.
It's not great.
Not great.
No.
Fair.
Maybe.
Tight ends, Hunter Henry, Mike Gesicki, and Anthony Fertzker from Tennessee as well. He can play those. So those are 3 really good tight ends.
So you have good tight ends.
Those are very good tight ends. Yeah, like I would say that it's funny to say that the tight end would elevate the skill positions.
They're running those tight ends.
They should be.
Well,
They should be.
their tight ends are better than their receivers. Juju's not what Juju used to be. Juju's so.
Juju never really was, which is kind of funny. He had that 1.5 good seasons in Pittsburgh, and he's rode that ever since.
Right. I mean, he's okay. He's
good,
Right.
but like.
So I'm not huge.
I don't.
I thought it was gonna be worse when I
thought
first
a B. I'm going B minus.
I'm B minus.
B minus. I like that tight end room. I like that tight end room, and I like Ramondre Stevenson.
That's the
I
only
don't
thing that's
want
keeping it from
from falling too low.
Who's the number 2 back? Hold on. Who's the number 2 back? Real quick?
Was James Robinson, which
So
I think is a good back.
So that's the only reason I keep it a B minus.
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
that wide receiver
I'm-
room is not hot, but that tight, you have 2 legit tight ends. It all comes down with the fuck offense they're gonna run.
Yeah, I'm
With an
right there
offensive coordinator.
between B minus and
We're
C+.
gonna have a fucking defensive line
I'm
and calling
close to
offensive
the C
plays.
plus though.
You're
Are
really,
you?
really.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just that.
I'm kind of with you on that. I don't know if I want to pull the C plus because I do like the tight ends, and that's what. And
No,
the 2 running
I'm
backs.
staying B
If
minus.
I'm
on
gonna
it
get
for
into
that.
the C's, I think this is right there though.
It's a B minus for me.
It's a B minus for me as well.
It's like it's teetering. We're like that 80%. It just made it type B minus. So let's jump into the last team in the AFC
York.
East is the New York Jets. Jets. Jets.
They made a shitload of moves this offseason.
I
Lay
can't wait
it
to
on
listen.
us.
I can't wait to listen.
Lay it
to
on
this.
us.
All right. I mean, the running back room.
Really good.
Yes, I agree. Brees Hall, of course,
Dude, he's
started
a
off
stud.
so hot.
I hope he comes back from
I was
his
going to
injury.
say, though,
Yeah.
that ACL is no joke.
But people come look at dude. What's his name? Came back AP. I'm not saying Brees is AP, but AP came back and went from
Ain't
fucking like,
nobody AP. Let's be real about
That
that.
dude came back
That is
with
the
like
exception,
2,000.
not the rule.
He came back and went
That guy's an animal. He said he's still not retired, by
I
the
know.
way.
I was saying, fucking sign him. Just
All
let
right,
him
let's
pound,
go.
bro.
Let's go. Keep going.
So yeah, and then they have Michael Carter. He's been a good.
That's a nice 2.
It's nice too. It is, and then after that, Israel.
They just drafted him
drafted
this
him.
year. Yeah,
He's
he's a
their
rook.
rookie, and then they still have Zonovan Knight as
Oh,
their
okay.
4th guy.
I forgot about that kid.
So yeah,
It's not- it's-
your 1-2 is nice.
If they and it depends if the rookie can pop.
yeah, what can the rookie do?
Right. So your 1-2 is nice. And Brees has just got to come back healthy.
And yeah, Knight could even be that spell guy if he had to be.
Yes.
So not horrible. And then the wide receivers, we got, of course, Garrett Wilson leading
Stud.
the way. Stud, yes.
Rookie of the year, reigning rookie of the offensive rookie of the year, robbed it from Kenneth, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, and then got a couple new faces. Alan Lazard, Rogers had him or wanted him, so he's on the team. Carl Hardman Jr. They got
from
him
the KC. He's a speedster, isn't he?
Yes, correct.
Speedster. They have Corey Davis.
They still have Corey Davis.
He's still never.
They still have Corey Davis.
Well, they only got him last year.
No, they've had him for like 3 years. Oh no, because he was in Tennessee. I'm sorry,
and he never did anything in Tennessee.
And then, of course, Rogers also wanted Cobb. He's keeping that guy employed.
What a fucking waste of a roster spot.
And then they drafted Denzel Mims. Mims had health
issues. There was a lot of hype for him coming out too.
Right.
If he can stay healthy for sure. He's like the George Pickens of this draft, is basically.
I don't know if he's quite as good as George, but he's good.
Well, that was the comparison, is what I'm saying though. Like you still got to prove it, but pretty good, goddamn good wide receiver.
A good group.
That is a good group.
And I think they have a good group of tight ends too.
And I think the group, if Cedric just keeps getting better, Wilson from
Garrett
Wilson, I think if he just keeps getting better, that room just elevates. That room goes on him.
Yeah, I'm going to be looking to add him to my fantasy team if possible.
Dude, yeah, me too.
All right, but getting into the tight ends, I like this group. Tyler Conklin leading the way. They got CJ Uzomah.
Uzama
from Cincy. Yeah. He was good when he was healthy.
And he was kind of ghost last year. But they had crap quarterback play. I don't know if you can really put that one out there.
And then, do you know Jeremy Ruckert? Was he?
That doesn't sound.
Don't know. Yeah.
Zach Kuntz is a rookie.
That's my guy.
He's your guy.
That's my guy.
I got
Old
him.
Dominion. Yeah.
That's your dude. All right. So you like the tight end group?
Yes, that is a heavy B+. If not,
it all depends on Breece Hall, really.
It does. If Breece comes back healthy, that might be an A- group of athletic positions.
I kind of like that too, because I do like Breece Hall.
I love Breece.
The same guy, I like that. I give him the A-.
Yeah, and you have Garrett too. So
they have good depth. They have it at all three. So they have at least two good at every position.
It's your two receivers. It's your two young kids that are.
I'll concede an A- there.
I'll go A- there.
I'll concede an A-.
It's your two young kids that are going to be the ones that are, hopefully pulling the load with Hall and Wilson.
So there it is. That's the Jets take the AFC East. That's
favorite,
probably skill positions. AFC East they got Patriots.
There's the only A we all gave out. It was an A-, but it was the only A we all gave out.
Because we gave a B+ to the
Miami.
The Dolphins took a B because their tight end room was so bad. If they would have had Gillespie or Gesicki, if they had Gesicki,
that'd make a big difference.
That would have been a huge difference, and then the definite would have been a fucking C. Then the Patriots would have been even lower.
Right. Had they not had the tight end room carrying them for sure. But still, shout out to the Jets, I guess. Roster rework, do they have to? Because their window, they have a finite window right now with Rodgers in town. Yeah, for sure.
Maybe 3.
All right, so we're going to move to the NFC North.
Yep, we're starting with the Bears.
All right, let's go.
And I think this is, as we're talking, I'm looking down. This is a nice...
I know y'all be saying that the Bears are 4th in the NFC North. I'm like, I don't know. Man.
Devontae Foreman is your running back, your starter most likely.
Really?
That's what they have him listed as. Herbert, your kid from
Khalil Herbert.
Yeah, your kid from West Virginia Tech. Yep, he's a stud. And then I really like the Roschon Johnson pick. The kid from Texas is a stud.
Oh yeah, the backup to Dijon.
Yep, and they have
He's gonna have fresher legs.
And they have Homer.
Travis Homer.
Yes.
That is a very good gadget player. He can plug in and give you some great third down receptions. He can pass block. He plays special teams. Travis Homer's a good player, man.
I wouldn't be surprised if Roschon is one of doesn't take that starting role towards the end of the season.
Really?
I like Roschon a lot. The only reason he was overlooked is because he played behind
Dijon's an animal, exactly.
Well, and I see Foreman is more of a your other back, your spell back too.
Yes.
Like I don't think he's
a banger, dude.
He's banger, but
I don't know
think he's
how
the
much
one
juice he's got. Right, exactly.
Because Herbert's your
he's a shifty. He's the pass catcher for sure.
He's your scatty back.
So overall, not a bad group.
That's a really good.
Not a bad group.
Then let's go into wide receivers. You have DJ Moore, stud. Darnell Mooney is now got a number 1 to cover him, so I'm hoping
he had a bad year last year.
But he didn't have anybody else with him.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I could see him bouncing back.
And then you have
Chase
Claypool.
I like that signing, not signing, but that trade. I liked that.
You're higher on that.
Yes,
than
I am. He's a big body wide receiver, young, that can do it.
And then you still have Pettis and Tyler
Dante
Scott.
Pettis? No way. Dante Pettis still hanging out.
Yeah,
still hanging out.
Tyler Scott, and then you have
falls off quick.
Yeah, and that's about it. Wide receiver room. So your wide receiver room, it all depends.
You got
if
3 guys that could be.
And
You got 1 guy that's really good.
And if those other 2, if Mooney
could be
and Claypool have good years, that's a really good 1, 2, 3.
That's a good 1, 2, 3.
It could be Mooney be your slot dude.
So good running backs, good receivers,
and then your tight end room is pretty good. Cole Kmet, Robert Tonyan are your 1 and 2. Those are really
it's a really good tight end room.
So and then Jake Tongues and Chase Allen. So
whatever, that 1-2 is nice.
Is hot.
That 1-2 is very nice. Absolutely.
I think it's a solid B plus.
Gotta glean B plus for sure.
Because I need to know if Mooney and Claypool are going to do something.
They could elevate to an A if they ball.
And if
DJ Moore is an A for sure.
Yes.
He's a great wide receiver.
And I think your running back room depends on.
He's got to get in the end zone more. I didn't realize how many yards he had. He doesn't have many touchdowns actually. If you look at DJ,
he played for the Panthers.
Right. Got a lot of touches, just didn't get in the end zone a whole lot.
They run the football out there.
Maybe that's true. Maybe that changes in Chicago.
Chicago.
All right, so overall B plus.
I'm saying a B plus because I need to know Claypool and Mooney are going to just become back to where they were.
Change or what they become.
And then I need to know is Roshan
could he be the guy?
Devontae's also got to stay healthy.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the Detroit Lions, a team that's got a lot of hype behind them, man.
Yes.
A lot of motivation spilling over from last year.
I don't know if this room is as very good as I thought it was.
Well, let's find out right here. All right, running back room. Jameer Gibbs, obviously they just drafted 12th overall. The do-it-all back, they have him listed, more or less.
Yeah, but I don't know if he is.
David Montgomery.
Well, I think that's the pairing right there.
That's the pairing.
A lot of people are low on Montgomery. I think he's still got a lot of juice in his legs. That kid can run hard. Got to stay healthy. And then Craig Reynolds is their third. He's one of those, you're only going to really know him if you're a Detroit fan. He is a good player, but he's very under the radar. He wouldn't be considered a high-value asset just yet, but he can play. Kid can play. So good room, unproven as far as Jameer Gibbs on a professional stage.
So I don't know if I'm not high.
Potential is high.
I'm not high on that.
But floor is low, and that's always a little scary.
It's
always a little scary, yeah. Wide receivers, Amara, who's a fucking animal. Yeah, he's. But it's funny though, he's not necessarily a true number 1.
Correct.
If you define his role, He can put up numbers as such, but
he's not. Yeah,
and he's the guy I want on my team though. That's
sure.
Physical receiver.
Jameson Williams.
He's got to come back from suspension.
He's suspended for the first 6 games of the year, but that's definitely one of the guys that you have to put out there
because he's also because he got hurt in the national title game for Alabama, so we only got to see him for
2 games.
He's supposed to be the dude that's supposed to be the 1.
Right. They drafted him as such. They moved up to go and get him,
which I thought was a good.
So then they also have Marvin Jones Jr.,
which
he can play. He's a veteran, right? And then Josh Reynolds. I would mention him out there. He's got some hands. Jay Reynolds can ball. He had some good years in LA, and he's had some good years in Detroit too. So, I mean,
it's okay. They need
Amara is an animal.
They need
Jameson's unproven, and Marvin Jones is going to give you good but not great. He's a little bit past his prime.
So their skill positions are not great.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm not as high on it as I thought I was going to be either. To be fair, as I'm reading this out, tight ends you have Brock Wright, who because they traded out Hawkinson just last year, so they don't have a TE1 necessarily. They did draft Sam.
Why trade him in your own fucking division?
To the Vikings, I know. And they did draft that Sam Laporta kid that you guys are pretty high on as well.
Yes, he's the hope that starts.
Right. So potential, I guess, is the word here for this group. Maybe even a B minus.
It's a B minus for
me. Maybe a B minus because there's so much unproven.
Because I don't know what Gibbs is going to give you. I don't know.
Right. They could elevate up, but right now, as it stands, that might be a C plus for me. To be fair,
I'm giving it a C plus.
If I'm being fair.
I'm giving it a C+.
I mean,
I'm
really,
really
the
leaning
only
C+.
guy that I'm hanging my hat on here is Amaron.
Right.
Outside of that, I'm not putting my chips on any side of that table.
Nope.
Like
yeah.
C plus,
C plus.
C plus. Fuck, man, I thought I was higher on the Lions, but
That's why
maybe
I
it's
thought
that defense.
That's why I thought. That's why I thought they would have taken a wide receiver with that. Obviously, their whole draft confused all of us, but I would have thought they would have taken one of those top 3 wide receivers.
Yeah, they didn't. They
did
didn't.
not.
So C plus for the Lions, man.
Let's jump into the Packers, which I think I actually really like this depth chart. Maybe I don't know the tight end, but I do know most of that roster. I think
Well, they're them rookies though.
Yep. So leading it off, of course, Aaron Jones, starting running back.
Aaron Jones.
AJ
He's a
Dillon,
great- Dude, that's a
good
great
1-2.
1-2.
Yeah, that they have
Best
been-
1-2 in conference. Yeah.
Conference or division?
Oh, division.
Division.
Okay.
In division.
I was gonna say
I
that's-
misspoke.
No.
Yeah,
Yes. That's in division.
And then
that no doubt.
after that, I don't know.
Because if Dalvin Cook had a 2-back in, Madison Cook is a pretty good 1-2 right there in Minnesota.
It is.
I'd say they're second.
I think they're second. I
Okay,
still think
because Madison isn't as good as Dylan.
Correct.
Okay, all right, I will concede that, but I'm just saying I think that's pretty close. I think
It
Minnesota
is.
has an argument.
we could also run back to the Bears and argue them too as well. If Freeman and Roschon say it's yes.
After Dylan though, it's
But then they-
Patrick Taylor and Lou Nichols
See,
the third. Who?
That's what
Yes.
I'm saying. So you got two-
Louis Nick the third.
so you got two great backs.
And then who
And then not
knows?
those other teams. The Bears had 4 backs that we were looking at.
Right. But
So
those
those-
top 2
but
are
those
that's
two are so
A
good,
tier.
if
That's
they have to
God
be
tier
the
for sure.
guy, they
That's
can be the
S tier,
guy.
no doubt.
and they're not
No doubt.
injury dudes.
Yeah.
They're not injury dudes. Those guys
Well,
stay
or
healthy.
they're small injury dudes. When it's a nick here, a nick
Correct.
there. They knock on wood. I don't want to put any of that out there.
Yeah, me neither.
Like,
But
you
they're
know,
not dudes that are missing tons.
They
of time.
haven't missed massive amount of
Yeah.
time now, which is always nice, especially a running back. God damn.
100%.
All right, what do we got for wide receiver in Green
So
Bay?
wide receivers, I mean the rookies from last season.
Yep.
Christian Watson,
I like him.
Romeo
a lot.
Dubs.
Like him a lot.
We like those guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
They showed promise.
They did.
No, not only showed promise, they executed when they needed to. Dubs had some hands out there. Watson
did have some drops.
started a little shaky, but like he ended up having 9 tutties last year.
But their quarterback also didn't show up to OTAs or anything too to help them out.
Yeah, there was
God, Watson dropped that wide open streak week
They,
1.
they growed as the season
man.
went,
Correct.
but it was rough at the beginning.
100%.
Just like
and then
that
who else
mic
was on?
drop.
Who else did we go looking at?
So after that, I mean, they have
Jalen Reed.
Jalen Reed as the third guy
He's
listed.
so.
I don't know these other guys.
Yeah, that's
I
the
don't
problem.
either. I don't
That's
either.
the problem because
I
they
don't
lost
know any of
Lazard.
those other guys.
They lost Lazard. They lost Cobb.
I'm not even
They
sure
lost,
some of these names if I want to try to pronounce.
But their tight end room could be good. So we're banking on rookies all over the Packers.
Yeah.
Right,
It
so,
is
so
young
then what are you
skill
liking
positions.
about it here, Downey? You said you were high on it coming
I
in.
thought
Other
that-
than the
I
running
thought-
back room, I'm
I
not
thought
hearing-
that the receiver. I didn't know the receiver depth wasn't because I like those first 3. I love their 2s. If Dubs and Watson work out, like I think they will, I love the 1-2. Reed's not bad as a 3, but I thought there was more depth on the backside.
no depth there.
and
Zero.
super young group again with
Yep.
even with the tight ends.
So
Musgrave,
potential.
two
They
rookies.
need to tear
Two
it down. They
rookies as
needed
the
to tear it
1-2.
down, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Luke Musgrave's your pass catcher, and then Croft's going to be the dude that's coming off.
So you're talking rookies there too, man. You're talking across all skill positions except for the running backs. You're getting a little. Jones and Dylan are
Yep,
established. but
First year, second
everything
year
else,
guys.
yeah, dude.
So-
With a quarterback who ain't never done it before. Like if
So-
I'm Green Bay, my asshole is tight going
So
into
you're
this.
Got that lemon.
So
Tight
your,
butthole,
your,
dude.
your potential is outrageous like with the 2 receivers and the 2 tight ends, but we gotta
High
see it.
ceiling, very low floor, very unproven low floor. Like it's a C plus for me. That's a C plus.
C
I'm sorry,
plus
I can't-
again, dude.
I
It's too many questions.
Yes.
I'm gonna go
Hey,
B minus
because of the running back room.
No, and I love the 2 receivers at the top.
I still don't, but I don't necessarily put them in the stratosphere. If they're not going to elevate Jordan Love, I don't think.
Well, Jordan has. My argument to that is that Jordan's actually now been in 2 OTAs with him because he was the one that was throwing to him last year in OTAs.
True.
So I think that
There might be
more
some chemistry there.
There might be more chemistry.
I get
than
it,
the other
and
one.
I won't say that that's a bad argument. I still go C plus. I really do.
So I'm gonna
I
stick with.
can't.
I'm gonna go B minus.
Okay.
All right, so then the last team in the division is the Minnesota Vikings. Huh? Oh yeah, Minnesota Vikings. So running back Dalvin Cook, stud if he's always healthy, but they were talking
Rumors
about
where they were
moving.
going to trade him.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So I thought that was weird. And then, like you said earlier, you have Alexander Madison, and then you have
can
Ty
play.
Chandler and Dwayne McBride is a rookie out of UAB.
He was
he's a
actually
scat-
relatively highly touted coming out.
I like him as a scat back.
That.
So I think that running back.
I love that one too. I've watched
And I think
Alexander Madison destroy the Seahawks.
And I think if Dwayne McBride makes that has a good year as a rookie, I think that makes that room really good.
Okay,
Really good.
I like it.
I actually think that their receiver room is really high too. A lot of it's going to maybe play out. But you have Justin Jefferson, who's easily one of the best, if not the best receiver. You got Jordan.
He's him.
You got Jordan Addison, who me and Trev think is going to win Rookie of the Year, and then you have KJ Osborne, who I think came in really hot at the end of the year last year. I thought he played really well at the end of the year last year, KJ. And then they also have Jalen Reagor that they got from the
Philly.
Eagles,
I don't know about
which
that
hasn't
guy.
really turned out, but
He's a name.
It does
He's
add,
a name.
It does add some depth. And Brandon Powell. So your receiver room's okay. I think a lot's going to have to play off if KJ keeps making his steps forward. And
It's a
if
good
Jordan,
1, 2, 3.
And if Jordan, because
really
it
good
would
1,
be
2,
if
3.
KJ keeps making steps and then Jordan, that is with Justin. Justin's the dude.
Yeah, no, you pencil him as potential All-Pro.
Correct.
For sure.
Every year.
Yeah.
And then a tight end is T.J. Hawkinson, which is a really good tight end. He just didn't
I
get used it.
was going to say, it's been his usage rate. I think that more balls are going to be looked his way
Dude,
in the
he's
upcoming season after he gets to develop with Kurt this
and he's
offseason.
he's a stud.
Yeah, absolutely. He's an Iowa tight end, dude.
Yeah. And then after that, you have Josh Oliver, he's not bad. Josh Oliver,
No, he
he's
got a
too.
bag this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played in Baltimore last year, played pretty damn well, and got a
Yeah.
bag from Minnie this year.
And then
so.
Johnny Mundit and Ben Elfinson. So your 1-2 are really nice.
Nice.
So
Shit, man.
is that
That's an A- for me. Yes,
because of Jordan
because
Jefferson and you have
you have all three. You have a grade A running back, a grade A wide receiver, and a grade A tight end.
That
You
might
do.
be an A. And
You do.
if Addison does what
Right,
we
could
think
be a
he's gonna
B
do,
plus, could be an A
and
minus. Yeah, no, that's an A
KJ
minus for me.
keeps elevating, I think that's an A minus for sure.
That
I'm
might
right there
even be
with
a
you.
solid A if I think about it.
Yeah,
I
it
forgot-
might be.
That might even be a solid A.
Because Justin Jefferson
You have a good 1-2 running back, a good 1-2-3 wide receiver, and
and
a
a
good
really
one,
good tight
a
end.
really smoking good tight end. Yeah.
That might be an A. Not an A plus, but it might be an A.
I lean more closer to the A minus.
Because-
But it's definitely
Because of depth at receiver.
close. Yeah. Yeah.
I agree with that. I could be. I'm gonna go
All right, A
A.
minus.
I'm going A because
God.
I like Justin Jefferson so much.
God,
when you have the
he
number,
is so
when you have the
good.
number 1 or 2 receiver in the
So
league,
good.
you have the,
And
maybe
Cook
the
can be a top 5
and
running
you,
back.
and you have maybe the top. If you want, we'd have to really go through the tight ends.
Top
and
5
You could say that
ish.
Hawkinson is 6, 7, 8. Some probably. I don't know. We'd have to really knock him out
Sure,
to figure
sure.
out how he lies. But Hawkinson, on that team, he is a really good tight end because Kurt's going to.
I'm going A minus. I'm sticking with it. A minus. I'm with
good.
Buddy.
Yeah, it's close.
It is
though.
very
It's
close.
I'm
It's
going
very
to go A
close.
because of who you have.
I would consider A.
Yeah, sure.
But I mean, if
You're at the
Dalvin-
90 percentile for
if Dalvin
sure.
falls off, then it could fall.
That's
Because
kind of my worry, just
I can
because
feel
he
you.
hasn't.
Getting a little older. He's
Yes.
been a little hurt the last couple of
Correct.
years.
Yeah,
correct.
that's my
Never
hold up
a
there.
good pattern for an aging running back to start getting hurt.
No, 100%. All right, so that's the end of.
So it goes to Mini. So that
Yeah.
goes to Mini.
Yeah, I think
That one's pretty
Minnesota's-
easy.
I think
That one's pretty
Minnesota-
easy.
Yeah, I think Minnesota wins that division. So let's jump into the AFC North. This division's got to be a real. I think this division will be really.
Yeah,
good.
dude. We got Baltimore up first,
Okay.
you guys, the Ravens. And, we're not mentioning quarterbacks, but shout out to Lamar for getting the bag and coming back. Running backs, though, they got them in spades, you guys. J.K. Dobbins
They all
should
gotta
be
stay
coming back
fucking healthy.
full health. Well, yeah, once again.
Because that running back room is deep. But
Yeah,
it's an
Gus
injury
Edwards
deep.
and Justice Hill, man. All three of those
Oh,
guys can play.
I like Gus a lot.
Gus is a banger
I do
too, dude. JK needs a little bit more top end speed, but his shiftiness in the hole and his ability to get skinny and find the fucking hole is fantastic. Like,
Physical.
All of them. So that might be an A room for me right there. That's close. It's very
room.
close.
I'm not as high on it because they don't ever play.
Wide receivers. They did some work here in the offseason.
It's better.
Better. Odell has got to be your number one, right? Like
good free agents.
Yeah, for sure. That's the big duck in the little pond. Rashad Bateman. And then they just drafted Zay Flowers out of Boston College.
But see, my whole thing with that is that now you have because who's the other one?
Rashad Bateman.
Bateman doesn't play.
They drafted him. He was a first rounder last year.
He hasn't been healthy, and he's still kind of a question. He hasn't really popped.
Right. And I like Zay coming out, but Zay's so small, and then Odell. It's an okay room. Who's back? Who else you got? No,
you got Devin Duvernay, who's got some hands. He played pretty well last year.
He did play pretty well last year.
Nelson Aguilar.
Not a bad room.
And then the other noticeable name I would say is Andy Isabella, but he hasn't really done a whole lot.
He hasn't done so much since he left the Cardinals.
So, I mean, it's a B+ room with potential for A as Zay and Odell pop.
He was on the Cardinals with Palmer.
Yes.
So he's...
Wait, no.
He was the Kyler. It was the Kyler years. The early Kyler year.
Yeah.
But it's probably the best room Lamar's had.
I like the depth, but I kind of thought they were going to take Quentin to get a little bit of height.
And then tight ends, you guys, this is what the Ravens always do. Mark Andrews is top 3.
You have him over Kittle?
I mean,
Waller?
I mean, Kelsey's number 1, right? Correct. Then from there, it's open to debate. 2 and 3 are very much like...
I have it going Kittle, because he plays all the time and I like him. Waller at 3.
He's been kind of banged up the last
he has been.
Waller's been way banged up.
And then I have Eric Andrews at 4, but if
Mark.
Waller's
You always screw
I do. I always screw
I forget about Justin Jefferson. You screw up Mark Andrews' name.
I really like Mark. I really like him, but I just
anyway. He's an A. He's an A when it comes to chemistry.
He plays all the time.
Yeah, he stays healthy, and I think he's kind of the result of Baltimore's offense.
100%.
That
Greg Roman offense, they lean on tight ends big time, and then they have Isaiah Likely as the number 2.
But Greg Roman's not there no more.
Right, correct. But they'll run something similar for Lamar. Like they're not just going to totally
you're going to use Mark.
Right. Yeah. You're not. He's a weapon, regardless of what scheme he's in, for sure. And then Isaiah Likely as their 2. So that's a good.
It's not bad.
Tight end 1-2 as well. Man. That's at least a B+ for me, if not an A-. That's an A- for me. That's an A- for me.
I don't, because I don't like the running back room. I'm going to go with B.
I go B+. So we're all kind of close.
Wow. Not really. I'm an A-. He's a B.
I'm a B.
So that's the big separation, yeah.
No, I think that running back room is solid. I know that. Well, I'm not speaking on health.
Yeah,
the health is the great caveat. Right. When I look at these names and their abilities, if they all stay healthy, that's an A- to me.
I'm more the B. I'll stick with the B.
Okay. All right.
Moving on.
This room though,
dude. Yeah, I'm glad I drew Cincinnati in this lineup because I like this room.
Yeah, top heavy though is what I was kind of looking at there.
I mean, still though, that top is
supreme.
It's heavy for a reason.
Very supreme for sure.
Like, okay, of course, reading it off, Joe Mixon, top of the running backs. Got Chase Brown.
Gotta get healthy.
Chase Brown.
That was a great pick out of Illinois. That kid can play, man.
Dude, he's going to be good for them.
I agree.
Yeah, I see them trying to beat him.
He's going to end up being the one.
Probably. Yeah,
they're going to have to phase Mixon out because eventually that deal's they're not going to want to throw him
like the way they want to go.
For sure.
They still have some RJP Ryan too, or they are?
No, he went and signed. Where the fuck did he sign? Tampa? Was it Tampa? Did he go to Tampa?
I guess we'll find out.
I think he went to Tampa. That's where I'm putting it on, all right? I'm putting it out there. That's the one that rings the bell.
So then after Chase Brown, though, it's some more questions.
Yeah.
Trayvon Williams, Chris Evans.
Trayvon Williams could be okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's still not names that that really...
Right, so
but you're also banking on Chase Brown that we all like.
Yes, we like Chase. We think he could be good.
But Mixon is really your only proven commodity in that room.
Yeah.
Wide receiver, though. Okay, of course.
We all know the top 3.
This is the best
1, 2, 3.
It's one of the best 3 in the league.
It is. I think it is the best 3 in the league.
It could be. I mean, Chase, Higgins, Boyd. Man, oh man. Like...
If
Higgins
KJ
is
and
on his last
if KJ and
year?
Jordan Addison, yes. If KJ and Jordan Addison keep working out, they might, because you have the Chase and the Jefferson. But with Boyd being your slot dude,
Higgins is so nasty in his own right.
Higgins is so good.
I cannot. I don't know how they're going to retain both. They're going to let Boyd go eventually.
Well,
but
he's the older of the
right. So I don't. But how do you keep Higgins and Jamar Chase happy?
I don't know.
I think you try and keep both those guys as
well, I'm going to absolutely try.
Who's after that, Trev?
After that, it's a little bit more.
Is it Erickson?
I don't know.
Okay. A little white boy.
Well, they have Trent Taylor for a white boy. No, they have Trenton Irvin, Charlie Jones, a bunch of names I don't
way
recognize.
top heavy, but there ain't no depth.
But
there.
no doubt, yeah, but no doubt that those three are legit.
Yeah. Again, those top three
legit.
super legit.
Give me them tight ends because they made some moves at tight end, right?
Yeah,
they don't have
tight ends. Yeah, not so bad. They got Irv Smith Jr. from Minnesota.
Yep, and he played pretty well for them.
Gotta stay healthy, man. Gotta stay healthy, but he's got hands.
Yes.
He's got hands for sure.
I mean, Drew Sample pretty much took over for him last season.
Yeah.
He seemed to be all right.
No, good player, good
Yep.
solid player, can block too. So no, I mean, I have a hard time arguing that room.
And then after that, I don't know.
I never go past 2 tight ends really. Very rarely does a team have a third notable
Raiders
tight end.
might have 3.
Nah.
Idiots.
Okay, so there's your point then. All right, but overall, man, top heavy. Running back room very slight outside of Mixon. A- because the wide receivers have to elevate that.
I think so. I'm between B+,
B+,
and A-.
I'm a B+.
I
I'm a B+.
kind of lean A- just because of those 3.
And I think
3 is so good.
Chase Brown's going to be really good.
They
Which
are.
actually makes it,
B+.
I hope he is.
which makes
B+.
That helps my like.
I'm not backing down.
All
All
right.
right, so then we're from the Bengals, we'll go to the Brownies.
The Brownies.
Obviously, your running back Nick Chubb is probably one of the top 5 running backs in the league.
Stud.
From there, you have Jerome Ford and Felton Jr. and then John Kelly Jr.
Felton Jr. can
Felton
play,
Jr. is
man.
not bad as your
Felton
scatter.
Jr. can play.
So it's Nick Chubb elevates that room, but not.
Well, yeah,
a lot.
because Kareem Hunt is no longer on that roster, correct?
No,
So you did not
he's
read
still
him.
a free agent still.
Okay. All right. So,
Yeah, a lot of
I
running
mean,
backs.
Chubb's an animal.
Chubb's an animal.
God,
you,
he's
do,
an animal.
you need one of those other. You need Felton.
You need a spell back.
Yeah.
You do.
And then wide receiver room's not bad either. Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, and then Donovan People-Jones, and then Cedric Tillman and Marquise Goodwin. So you got.
Wow. No, actually, that's a pretty deep room.
Yes, I
Those
really
are
like that
5
room.
guys that can all play.
If Elijah Moore can do what we think he can do from Old Miss, that he makes that room really good with People-Jones on one side and then Coop, on the other side.
He's still a great technician at route running.
He just got to catch the ball all the time.
Sometimes
he gets those weird little
is not.
hands.
Yeah. You
So
gotta
with
catch
Cedric
the ball.
Tillman and they just drafted Cedric
Pretty
Tillman.
damn good
Yeah.
wide receiver room, man. That's like an A- right there for me.
That right receiver, and then tight end you have David
Njoku.
Njoku, who I think
Health.
he just disappears. And then from there you have Jordan Atkinson and Harris Bryant. So once you get past Njoku, it's okay, but you don't really have another dude.
Right, no running back depth. Good, really good one.
I'm a B
Nothing
plus.
behind it.
I'm a
I'm
B plus
at a B flat. I'm
because
at
I
a B
need-
flat.
Yeah, I need Elijah Moore to do what we think Elijah Moore can do.
I need a healthier tight end room.
lean closer to the B+ just because I really like Chubb.
Yeah,
I do too. That's the only reason that it would even come close to a B plus. But I'm staying with a B overall.
right. No, good. So who is the?
No, we still have the Steelers left. Yep. I'm
Yeah.
gonna shout out some Pittsburgh because I liked what they did in the draft, big time, dude. And I think that some of these players can make some moves.
So we gave Browns a B. You gave the Ravens an A. And
I gave them an A-.
And we gave the Bengals an A, and you went. So we're tied with Ravens and Bengals until we jump into this.
Yeah. Pretty much. It would be between those two moving forward, depending on what Pittsburgh.
Because I wasn't as hot on the Ravens as
Right. I was A-. He was B+. You were B. So we were the whole spectrum on this.
This
could open
really
up some
good.
debate. This could
This
very
could
much
be really
open up
good.
some debate. Running backs, Najee.
Love him.
Nah, I don't. He's good, but he has not played up to
last
his
year.
ability.
Year before,
right?
Year before he was really
Even
good.
still, he only had it was 3.8 yards per carry. He hasn't averaged over 4 yards per carry.
Some of that's the
yet.
offensive line. They gotta rebuild that.
True, but I mean,
Right. I like
fuck, man, they shit on the offensive line in Seattle, and Rashad Penny averaged 6 yards a carry for 3 years in a row.
I mean, how many
He played 3 games, but that's not the point.
Yeah, he got good average.
That's not the point. Anyway, all right. So behind him, Jalen Warren. That kid can play, but he's not really a household name. But that kid can play. And Anthony McFarland. Never heard of that dude, but the Steelers are renowned for running backs, so maybe he's got some juice.
Yeah, that's not as high as a room as I thought.
Wide receivers, Deontay Johnson.
Stud.
Yeah, agreed. That's why they moved off of Chase Claypool, is they
Correct.
have a lot of faith in him.
Well, and then the next dude,
George Pickens, yeah, that guy could absolutely take over the one by the
He
end
could.
of this upcoming year.
Very
That's a
much so.
very good one too. I like that. And then honestly, dude, I think it's a redemp year for this name I'm about to read. Is they signed they traded a 7th round pick for Allen Robinson Jr. Or the second. I don't think he's necessarily I don't think he's washed. I don't. He's a year or two removed from a 1,000-yard season. I think that LA team was just bad.
well, he never. It did seem like him and Stafford never missed.
Right.
Because I thought that signing was awesome last year.
We were all high on it.
But yeah.
So I mean, and then you got guys like Miles Boykin, who is decent.
Wow.
I love Gunnar Olszewski.
Yep.
He's a shifty little slot guy. He can play great special teams. Like that guy is worth note. And then Anthony Miller. So I mean, really, really good. I think those are really good 3. I really like the top 3, and then there's some decent depth there. I would say it's a pretty solid wide receiver room in Pittsburgh.
I think that is a pretty solid wide receiver. I forgot that's where Robinson signed. It kind of if he has a good year, that room is
potential
really
on
good.
him is big for sure.
Because you got to think if you have both those dudes of Johnson and Pickens, and then Robinson in that, man, you have a really you could have a really good room there. So that rounds out the. Oh wait, no, you got tight ends. Sorry,
Correct.
Tight
Yeah,
ends.
absolutely. And you guys, honestly, this is
This
like
tight
the
end
tight
was
ends.
sick.
Fryermuth, who is has proven himself as a commodity.
Yeah, he started playing well last season.
Yes,
he could round out. He's somewhere in
very
that
good.
top 8 argument kind of thing, maybe for tight ends in the league.
Yeah, it's like where's exactly.
And then they drafted Darnell Washington out of Georgia.
Just a big body.
Dude, he's like
huge
6'7",
man.
6'8", guys. LeBron James playing tight end.
And not even the best tight end out of Georgia.
Oh yeah, no,
The
the
kid that's coming out
homeboy
this
is,
year,
yeah.
Bowers is a stud.
Yeah, is touted as being he could be like Kyle Pitts
Correct.
top 5 is what
Correct.
they were talking about. But overall, no, I think that's a good. I like this overall. Najee, I'm not as high on though. I like Jalen Warren. I like the wide receivers a lot.
I'm saying it's a B
plus.
B plus.
I'm a B plus.
I'm there, B plus.
We need the other tight end to
I'm
pop.
a B plus.
We need Darren. We need Washington to see what he's going to do, and for Moose, got to do it again.
So then, out of that, man, I mean, I guess you guys were higher on Cincy reign supreme because your averages would lean more towards Cincy.
Correct.
Yeah.
But Baltimore is real close.
Baltimore's real, not for me, but yes.
But not for right. So, but overall, Cincy Cincy takes the AFC.
I think Baltimore. I had
do you
Baltimore over. I think Baltimore. I know because I think that the.
Do you have the Browns
I have
over
the Browns
Baltimore?
as too because of Chubb.
Okay.
And
Right.
I do like the wide receiver.
right.
depth.
So, but overall, Cincy takes
Cincy's
takes
taking
it.
it. Yep.
Okay.
And it's because of the 3.
I can't shit on those
And
three.
Mixon is a 1,000-yard back, and he's a 3-down back. But is he?
But is
he starting to decline?
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with that. I just think that I liked more the Ravens overall. To be fair, that's my.
Let's jump into the NFC South.
Actually, I'm going to call a timeout.
We're gonna call a timeout. Okay.
Yeah.
Potty break.
Potty break.
Potty break.
Sorry.
No, not at all.
The seal has to be broken.
All right, let's jump into the NFC South. I don't know. This might be. I'm kind of interested in what this division has to round out with some of these teams. It is going to be interesting. Let's start with the Falcons, Trev.
Yeah, I mean, close division last season. The running back room, you gotta like adding Bijan to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't seem like they needed him, but because they have
Tyler.
They just got Tyler Algier. He
Yep.
played pretty well
1,000-yard
last
rusher.
season.
I
Yeah.
really liked him.
Patterson's been good for him.
Getting a little older, but still serviceable.
Yes.
Yeah, and Caleb Huntley
Ran hard.
That's
group.
a really good room.
Right. Without Bijan, that's
It's a good
that's a
group.
pretty good group. With Bijan, that's
a
like,
really good group.
assuming that he is everything that he is touted to be. He's got a lot of miles on those legs already, dude. He ran
Favorite
a lot in Texas.
MVP, though, for rookie.
Yeah, in
Oh yeah, he's got to be the clear face. So that's a great room. That's an A room. That's an A room.
100%.
Moving on to wide receivers, we like Drake London, of course.
Like Drake a lot.
Big body receiver. Yeah, gotta give it to him.
Yeah, top pick last season, and then it gets a little shakier.
Yeah.
Oof. Matt Collins.
Yes, I like Mac a lot.
Makes sense. He's a Raider fan.
Familiar with him. Scotty Miller from the Bucks.
for the Bucks. Nice little
Older,
slot.
but great hands.
Yeah.
Great hands.
Then after that, I don't know.
Do they still have Zacchaeus?
They have JJ
Arcega-Whiteside.
They
Yeah.
have
Kind of a
Card.
bust.
They have Hodge. They have Darby. They have Hart.
So
Penny
now-
Hart, that's a former that he can play.
So you're hoping that Drake has a great year again.
Yeah,
You're
not-
hoping that Matt can redo what
Not
he
great, not great wide receivers.
did. You're hoping that Matt can redo what he did last year with
Not great
Carr,
wide
and
receivers.
then
But your twos are even B minuses.
Yeah,
Like
it's
they
not-
really only have one A, and I would even put Drake on the A minus level. I don't know if I put him solid A.
It's
Yeah.
a lot of young talent at the skill positions, and you got some guys that can pop. They're definitely going to rely
Well, their
on
number
Bijan.
one, their number two or number one is in the tight end position. That
Well,
hasn't
yeah,
stayed healthy.
it's Drake London and it's Kyle Pitts.
Correct.
Kyle Pitts was the high.
You gotta
tight
wake
end
up,
pick.
Kyle Pitts. You had a fucking boo-boo year last year, man.
Chuck's just mad because he had one.
Both
I
my
mean,
leagues,
I
bruh.
think that's
Both
some-
my leagues, and I thought I got good value for you, and you gave me like 3 tutties and 200 and some odd goddamn yards. The fuck out of here.
That tight end room though. After him, they have Jonnu Smith now.
Yes,
So
and
that's
he's
nice.
back with
Arthur Smith.
Arthur Smith, which he had the good years.
Right,
in
so
Tennessee.
good tight end room,
Running
great
double
running back
sets.
room, and potential in wide receiver.
Still not hot at the wide receiver. Even if Matt goes off, you're still.
I gotta give him a B plus because I can't. That wide receiver group scares me in a
It does.
throwing league. I know that they run it very well, but it is a passing league, dude. And Pitts has got to bounce back.
Pitts has to have a year,
B
otherwise.
plus at best.
I'm
And it's
going-
only because that running back
And
room
I'm just
is
saying,
so
I'm
stiff.
saying it's a B because we got
I'm
a lot.
with you. I'm closer to
You
B.
can go lower.
We got a lot of questions at
All
wide
right,
receiver.
I can concede to a B. I could lower down to a B.
We got a lot of
across the
questions at
board.
wide receiver, and we got a lot
Agreed.
of questions at tight end. Johnny
Agreed.
was good when he was in Tennessee, but then went to New England. It
Faded
wasn't
in
very
New England
good.
for sure.
So I think that it's a B because we got a lot. We need a lot of answers.
Yeah, well, yeah. I like the wide receivers, or not the wide receivers, the running backs and the tight ends. Wide receivers is, I don't know. I got London and
He's
It's
I
London,
don't know.
and it's London,
I don't
and
know.
So so that's the Falcons. So good running back room, but everything else is a lot of unprovenness. Let's jump into the Carolina Panthers. Not a bad roster as I look at it, but I don't know how high it's going to be. So you got Miles Sanders and Chuba Hubbard as your 1-2 punch at your running back room.
Sanders
With-
got to stay healthy, but that kid can play.
Correct.
That kid can play.
Then you got Raheem
Chuba Hubbard can play.
Right.
That's
You
a really good one
have
too. to be
Two
fair,
really
yeah.
good one too. Then you have Raheem Blackshear and
Blackshear
Spencer
can
Brown.
ball too. That kid can run tough.
So I think your 3 backs aren't bad. It all
Once
depends.
again,
Sanders has got to stay healthy.
That
And
might be an A. That
and
might be a
Chuba.
B plus A right there.
Then you have
A-minus.
wide receiver room as Adam Thielen again. He's getting older, so what's he got left in the tank?
He's not supposed to be your number one, is he?
Yeah, he's the one. DJ Chalk is the 2, and then Terrence Marshall Jr. is your 3, along with Chenault Jr. as well as that scat receiver. After that, you have Jonathan Mingo, who they just drafted.
yeah.
Man,
He could blow up though.
I like all those names to be
So
fair.
their running back or their wide receiver room isn't bad. It's just who's going to be the one.
I don't think it's going to be Thielen. I'll tell you that much. That depth chart, I think, is written completely wrong. I think that Terrence Marshall Jr. is that big body. They're going to find a way to get him on the field.
I think
more
Mingo's got to
without-
be if Mingo goes off that room.
Sure.
You got to hope
I'm-
that Thielen can help those guys.
Oh, that's the whole
Because that's
point,
a
right?
big
But there's
development.
no way he's WR1, right?
Well, I think right now as we're reading off, it's got to be him and Chark or your outside guys, and Marshall.
But Thielen is notoriously a slot guy. That's where he's made his bread and butter for his whole career.
No, I think he's been blowing past guys on the outside. He's always catching the deep balls. Steven's a deep ball receiver.
Yeah, I think he's been more outside.
Yeah, he's more outside. And then your tight end room's not bad with Hayden Hurst, who they just got from Pittsburgh, and Ian Thompson.
Not Pittsburgh, Cincy.
Cincy. He came from Pittsburgh first, though, didn't he? Didn't
No,
Hurst?
Baltimore.
He was
You're in the AFC North. You're still in the
AFC
AFC North, but
And then Ian Thompson, not a bad backup. Tommy Tremble and
Tommy
Richie.
Tremble can play.
So you got that's a solid. It's an okay
Potential is very much there,
Right.
in all of that. I give that a B.
I'm giving them a B minus because I don't know. There's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts on this team, so I'm going B minus.
I'm going at least a B. I almost lean towards a B plus.
I'm closer to the B myself.
Good, awesome. Who's next? Who's got?
We
Bucks?
got the Nolan Saints
Oh,
before we head Tampa
This
Bay.
might be the
Nolans.
best skill position. In
They have so much potential here if you read off these names. These are all guys who have done great things in the NFL but are question marks. Well, Alvin Kamara, based off of legal issues, unfortunately, he
Yep.
still might get suspended going into this year or at some point during this year. Hopefully it's not in the thick of things, but, don't be an idiot and get fucking arrested. They signed Jamal Williams away
It's a
from
huge
the
sign.
Lions. That's a
Huge
big
sign.
one, too, I think.
Yep.
And then they drafted Kendre Miller out of TCU.
like that.
He's kind of more of the direct Alvin Kamara archetype.
Correct.
That could be quite a running back room right there.
It very much will.
Wide receivers, Olave, shout out to him. He had a
Like
hell of a
Olave.
rookie year last year. They have him slated as the number 2 wide receiver is Michael Thomas. You'd like to think that he's going to come back healthy and actually provide some sort of something.
He hasn't played in like 2 years.
It's been like 3.5 almost, dude.
Yeah,
It's been
I don't
way
think you can
long.
count on anything.
That whole can't guard Mike era is long in the rear view. Like, he still has the physical attributes. I just don't know where his mental is after all of this time.
Correct.
And so then you got Rashad Shaheed, James Washington, Brian Edwards, and A.T. Perry. Traquan Smith, okay, that's a name I have to shout out there.
And
So
then Brian Edwards, a little connection with Carr from the Raiders.
honestly, though, that's a very weak wide receiver room. To be fair,
That's why I think the D-Hop would make that team just.
I would elevate that very much. Outside of Olave, I have nothing but question marks.
I like Brian Edwards more. He's not going to be.
I can
a
understand
two,
it.
but-
Some of his hands. He's a burner. That guy can fucking
So-
fly.
So you got to So because he was coming on a little bit towards.
He
the
had
end
a
of
couple
the
of
year.
moments where, yeah,
And
it's
then all of a
true.
sudden they dumped him. So
And then tight end, you're looking at Juwan Johnson, who he's good but not great.
yeah,
And then your boy got picked up, Foster Moreau.
he's going through some stuff right now.
Yeah, he's gonna play a significant role.
I like
believe.
him a lot,
He's got good hands, man.
Yep.
He's a good player. And then what they put is this guy is on the roster still: quarterback, running back,
Taysom.
tight end, Taysom. Yeah, who is the ultimate gadget player. And I don't know what you want to define him as. Just a good skill player. He's a good skill player. He's very skilled. That guy is amazing on the football.
Yeah, you got to mention him in the skill area.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's talented as all get out, dude. Like,
So
the
what
guy
are we
can
thinking
do
of
whatever
that?
you want. And he can hit you, dude. He can tackle very well. Like,
So we going B minus then?
I have to at least
Because
If
we don't know about the
Kamara holds it up if he gets to play,
Correct.
and I like Jamal Williams, and I like Kendre Miller. I like that running back room.
I do too, a lot.
But only Olave, and I'm questionable at tight end. God, that might be. Kamara is the only thing that gives him a B minus. That running back room supports a B minus, but nothing over that for me.
I'm
I'm
going
close to a C plus.
I'm saying B minus because
very close to a C plus, but Kamara gives them a B.
And I think Olave just keeps.
Agreed, and Olave too. Yes, so B minus is where I'm at
So I like
for
that.
sure.
I'm B minus there too.
All right.
Now we got the
last
big
team
bucks running up the
Is
NFC
this
South.
I can't wait to see this roster. I don't
Oh,
know what's
man.
going on this roster anymore.
So yeah, I mean Tampa Bay's gone through some changes. Listed as their running back 1, Rashad White.
Yep, he had a good year last year.
They drafted him with intent on knowing that was going to happen sooner rather than later. So yeah.
Following that up, they have Chase Edmonds. He's been
He's
a good piece.
he's got to stay healthy.
He can pop though, man. He's had those games as an
Yeah, correct.
NFC West. We've watched
We've
him
seen
wreck both of our teams before, for sure.
Keyshawn Vaughn is the third guy.
That name sounds familiar, but I can't put a lot behind that. To be fair,
Yeah. Well, their fourth, Patrick Riard. I don't know.
So not a deep running back.
Not at all.
Not even top heavy. To be fair,
Yeah, I mean we still got to see it with White again. Chase Edmonds is kind of here and there.
that's a C+ room right there.
It's not great.
Not great.
The skill position is led by their wide receivers. Though.
Oh sure, still got to be Evans
Still
and
got
Godwin, right?
Three
Edmonds
of them.
and Godwin.
And
Studs.
Cage.
Yeah, Gage from
Gage from
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Gotta play better though. Had a really off year last year. Was kind of hurt too, but not a
But
good year.
that's a problem with that team though. Your number 2 receiver is only playing 50% of the time too.
Sure.
He
No,
seems
they
like
were
he's-
banged up at
Godwin
wide
seems like
receiver
he's
all
hurt
last
all
year.
the time. That guy seems like
No,
he's
so
never
I mean, very top. Goddamn, Evans and Godwin are fantastic. Both
Evans
of
is
them
awesome.
are great wide receivers.
Yeah, and then top heavy, and then like after that, I'm not sure. Trey Palmer, Devin Tompkins.
Wait, did you say which Palmer?
Trey.
Trey, it's not the one.
Oh, okay. It's not Josh Palmer?
Not Josh
Okay,
from the
alright.
Chargers.
Yeah, so it's a bunch of question marks after that. pretty
Oof.
much.
And tight end, we got what? Cade Otton.
Cade Otton and Payne Durham.
Didn't they draft one this year too, or no? Am I tripping? Didn't they?
No,
do
no.
that?
I don't think so.
Unless Durham, yeah, they didn't draft him. I don't reckon.
That all of that's boo boo, you guys. That's
Yeah.
that's a hard C.
And the
Oh, and
thing-
it's only because
and
Evans
the only thing
and
that, yeah,
Godwin.
the only thing that
right?
doesn't make it any worse is because you have Evans and Godwin.
That would be a C- at
and
one of those.
your
bodies
3
right
receivers
there.
are really good. If Gage can
Gage
play,
I put Gage at fair. He could be.
so
I'd
it's not.
see.
That's a
It's
C.
It's
God
a C.
damn, Tampa.
And the only thing that's not keeping it from anything lower is because of the Evans.
And you got, and you're playing between Trask and Mayfield to start your QB room, dude.
That's why
Oof.
those rumors at the beginning of the year were, are they going to trade Evans and see if
That
they get
is,
some
that
stuff
is an
for it?
ugly looking offensive lineup you're putting out there, Tampa.
So who are we saying is the best in the South? Because it wasn't good. Was it the Panthers?
Or
Atlanta?
no, it was Atlanta? No, I think it's either the Panther or
I think
Atlanta.
probably the Panthers.
It might
Yeah, I was higher on the Panthers because I like Chuba and I like Dante Foreman, and I thought they had good.
Sanders.
Or Sanders, I'm sorry,
Sanders,
right? Yes, Sanders.
I do too, and I thought
Yeah,
that there was-
Panthers. With, I mean, that's not really, that's shining a
Because
turd.
because
still
the
be
Saints.
a shiny turd.
Because the Saints. Wait, or is it the Saints? No, because we don't
No,
like their
because
tight ends.
Kamara was the only thing that gave him a B minus. Outside
Yeah.
Olave was there too, but
Right.
like
Yes. Okay. So yes, it is.
it goes to the Panthers. Wow.
Panthers.
This is kind of actually showing a lot of things that I didn't, I
Yeah.
thought I was going to be leaning other ways in certain rosters.
And the Falcons are just a whole bunch of what ifs. If Kyle Pitts goes off,
Right,
and,
right.
and Matt Collins has another
That's a
good
good
year,
running back room. That's an elite running back room.
then that
but
jumps them over. But the Panthers
Right.
have so many if ands.
They're
Or not the Panthers,
The Falcons. The
have so
Panthers
many
are more
if ands.
consistent with what they're going to try out
Correct.
there.
You know what
for sure.
Thielen and Chalk are going to give
Okay,
you.
so there you go. There you
So-
go. So now we're going to move on to the AFC South, right?
Start with the Houston Texans.
Man, talk about, if I'm a Houston fan, man, I'm getting pretty jazzed. This might not be the year, but you guys are moving in a certain direction.
They
right?
this is another team that's got a lot of young, especially in the receiver area.
Right.
So your running backs, Damian Pierce, great year last
And
year
even
out of
when they
Florida.
traded up to get Will Anderson, they still have their first. Like, they're not, like, they're positioned very well moving forward.
Yeah, Damian Pierce, Devin Singletary, your top two, not bad. Devin Singletary's got to show something. He didn't do much in Buffalo. We thought he'd do more in Buffalo.
I don't think they gave enough run. They just didn't run the ball like almost ever. Like I think that in that scheme, he's going to get a lot more touches.
And then you got Mike Boone and Dare.
Good player.
and
Coming out of
Dare-
Denver, he was hurt, but like
Yeah.
he can play too.
And then Dare Oguanabol. Sorry,
Yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna screw that name up. So it's okay if Damian keeps having a good year. It's not a bad
I'm
run.
pretty high on those three, to be fair.
Receivers, it's a whole lot of if, and buts. So you got Robert Woods, which you're going to get out of him. He's a good blocking receiver.
If he
He's going
stays
to
healthy.
if he stays healthy. Nico
Great
Collins.
route runner.
Nico Collins, not know much about.
He good.
John Mechie the third. He's got his.
He missed his whole rookie year.
Yeah. So he's coming back. And
Question
then after
mark.
that, you have Nathan Dell, who's the burner out of Houston,
Tank,
and Xavier Hutchinson, correct. And Xavier Hutchinson out of Iowa State. So you have a lot of
Unproven commodities.
You need a lot to go right in that receiver room. That receiver room is very bad. You need a lot to go right.
We got anything at TE? They picked up Schultz, right? Yeah.
So he's the guy there, and then you got
Pretty good TE one.
Tegan Quintano, Bevan Jordan, and Mason Schreck. So nothing after that.
C+. No wide receivers.
It's a C. I can't even go plus.
I like that running back group. I really do. I'm very high on Damian Pierce.
I like Damian Pierce, but
I think that Singletary. No, I'm a C+.
I'm C, and I'm bending on the C- because they have no receivers that have done anything.
I like Dalton Schultz. I go C+.
So I'm a C, lower C. I didn't quite go minus, I guess, but C. All right, Charles, who we got next on the old AFC South?
The Indianapolis Colts, you guys, who were rumored, as it were, to have one of the better drafts going into this year, and they fucking needed it because they were bad last year, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Matty Ice done fell off a cliff. And, congratulations, honestly, to a team that, you never want to mull over a rebuild. If you're going to fucking do it, get to it. And this is the year that they finally committed to not just bringing in a saggy backup and trying to actually, move forward with a team through the draft and get younger and try to put together a winner for the future. So, obviously, dude, you have a bounce back player of the year candidate in Jonathan Taylor. Poor guy had a really rough year last year. That whole Indy team fluttered, but he clearly a 1A guy, right? The guy's a stud.
I think this is the year to see if he's still got miles.
Right,
Or is he going to take the Ezekiel Elliott and just kind of...
Right, and it's the constant fade from here on out,
Correct.
right? But I still think he's an animal. I think he's going to pop. I think he's going to put up 1,400 on the ground and another couple 3-4 through the air. He should be close to that 2,000 scrimmage yard mark. Backing him up is Zach Moss. And then Deion Jackson, who that kid came in and played very well last year when Jamar Taylor was hurt. So I like that group. I think that group is a solid A, maybe a B+, but at least a B+, if not an A, to be fair. Wide receivers. Michael Pittman's their number 1.
Yep.
Alex Pierce is their number 2.
Those are two good receivers.
And they just drafted Josh Downs out of North Carolina. That's rumored to be their 3 as this lineup stands here. Then they do have Isaiah McKenzie, Ashton Dolan, which I've never heard of, and shout out to this name, Malik Turner. He's a former Seahawk who that kid can play. He can play slot pretty damn well. So, nothing great, nothing really to write home about in that wide receiver room. Michael Pittman Jr.
he's a stud.
He's worth his salt. He is.
And
he's
I
a good
do like
player.
Pierce. I think those two, if they keep on the upward
And then
angle-
Downs is, questionable. He has a high ceiling, low, same thing with any rookie.
Right.
You don't really know what you're going to get, but that's not, it's okay.
If Pierce and Pittman keep going up,
I give that a B. I give that overall a B. And then tight end, they have Jelani Woods and Kalen Granson. And Mo Alley Cox as well. So
C+.
yeah, Jelani Woods can play, and Mo Alley Cox can also as well, but he's getting older. No burners, no stalwarts at tight end like that. Yeah, fuck. Outside of running back,
I give that team a C+ in the skills.
overall you give him a C+.
Yeah.
I like that running back room, and I like that's it. B-. And it's because Jonathan Jonathan Taylor's a beast.
between those two, I really like Taylor, but I'd probably go closer to the C+.
Okay.
No time. No.
Yeah, so Indy, dude. Yeah, you're getting younger and you're going in the right direction that way, but things got to happen for you.
This is probably the best roster in this division.
All right, let's get to
The
it.
Jaguars, it's got to be the best.
Jaguar
Hands down.
All right, leading the way, running back, Travis Estienne Jr. ETN leading the way. Following him for the backups, you got Tank Bigsby.
I liked him coming out of Auburn, dude. I can't believe he slid as far as he did. That kid runs hard. His name's Tank, for fuck's sakes.
I mean, you gotta like the name.
You're almost there.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're almost there.
Hasty. He played for my team.
Jamichael. It ain't that hard of a name, bro. And he's
I'm
also
sorry.
a former Niner.
I know. And he popped at times.
Jamichael Hasty.
Then
Yeah, he
the next-
can, absolutely. He
the
was
next-
that 3-back that
And the
you
next
had.
back's not bad either.
Yeah, Darren Johnson.
Yeah. So
Wait,
that,
who?
Darren Johnson, that room's not a bad room.
I never heard of him. Where's he?
I'd have to click. I did the names. The name resonates with me for some reason.
Oh, Darren Johnson out of
Yes,
Cleveland.
yeah.
He was in Cleveland behind.
Correct.
Yeah, he
okay.
played
Felton.
quite a bit.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
the third back then.
Yeah.
I like that running back.
No,
room.
Darren. Yeah, when Chubb and Kareem Hunt
Correct.
both went down, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So I like that running back room.
It's pretty good.
But
pretty good.
other than ETN, I mean,
It's a whole lot of if it's Tank.
It's what ifs.
yeah, it's potential.
ETN's a stud though.
Correct.
Great pass catching bag.
Yeah,
But
He's
I
just-
mean, I think this really is the spot here is the wide receiver.
dude, 3 legit wide
For,
receivers.
I mean, if Trevor just can keep improving, you got, of course, they paid that contract that everybody thought was ridiculous for Kirk.
Still think it kind of is.
Yeah,
It
I'm
might-
Good chemistry there,
But he
but
played really well.
he did. He did.
But
He-
then
he
you
deserves
also-
some roses.
Now you get Ridley, Calvin Ridley. He's
That
off the
could
suspension.
potentially be huge. That could very well be huge.
And
But we don't know. We don't know what he's going to look
And
like.
Zay,
Yeah, and Zay Jones surrounded
Kirk
the
and
top
Zay had a
3.
great year last year without Ridley being there. Ridley
So that
being
should
there,
help
dude.
both. That should
Good
help
top
both
3.
of them.
That is
What do
a
they have
really-
behind those guys?
After that, then yeah, it gets a little choppier.
Agnew, he's a kind of a
Yeah,
rookie.
Jamal
Agnew
Agnew,
can ball.
Parker Washington, Tim Jones.
Tim Giant.
Tim Jones.
Tim Jones.
So you got 3 and then a 4 that's okay, and after that you're
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. But your
Okay,
3 are
all right.
really good though.
Very good. Agreed.
And then they got Evan
Two really
Ingram
good
from the
tight
Giants.
ends. Yes, he had a really good year last year.
God, yeah, they franchised him to hold on to him. Yeah.
He had a really good
He
year.
came on big at
and
the
then
end
they
of
got
last
the
year.
rookie from Penn State,
Is that
Brenton Strange.
Brenton Strange.
Okay, so I mean, really good running back group, really strong at the front end of their wide receiver, not great depth, and good. That's an A minus.
I was gonna say A minus
It's
super.
an A
because I
minus.
really do like if Edwin Ingram keeps playing like that.
Right.
He is one of those dudes that could be your number 2 receiver because
He
of what
can Waller out for
Yes.
sure. He can run that Waller-esque style.
And their receiving core is so. Dude, those 3.
You're very high on him, huh?
Yeah.
Sounds like you're mildly gushing.
Well, I picked the Jags to have like what I say. I said they were going to be the number 2 seed. In
You
the,
did,
in
you
the
did.
Thing. I'm well. Then it also comes to who you're playing. Like we've gone through all this roster now. I'm about to do the last team,
Or the
but
division,
it's
yeah.
not. Yeah, the division is not good.
Right, no, the first 2 were not.
So
yeah,
and the third
probably
is even
the best
worse.
skills in the division.
Yeah, easy. So we'll go through the Titans right now. Obviously, you have King Henry. Derrick Henry is your running back. Tajay Spears out of Tulane is your 2.
He's got to get healthy.
Yeah.
I believe he was a little hurt coming out of college, but that kid
He
can
can
pop.
pop.
He's
And
got
then-
some serious speed.
Hasten Haskins and Julius Chestnut. So
Right, so you got a 1.
yes.
You got an elite 1 and then questions.
And then your receiver, you only have Traylon Burks, Nick Westbrook,
AJ Brown was dumb as
Nick
fuck.
Westbrook,
Tennessee.
Kyle Phillips, Chris Moore, Colton. Your receiver,
A whole lot of nobodies,
your
dude.
receiver room's awful.
Bad.
Your tight ends aren't very good. Josh Wiley,
Who?
and then
It's a rookie.
yeah, and then you have
Oh, Tennessee.
pronounce that one for me.
No, thank you.
Let me see. We're gonna give it a shot. We're gonna open this up.
CO. I'm gonna call you
We're
CO.
going. We're going for it. We're going for it.
Yeah, go for it, Chuck.
Oh yeah. Nope.
Nope.
Chigazomi
Okanobu.
Chigazomi Okonowu. So,
Yeah, yeah. He is
That's
good
a
though. I can't say his damn name, but I know he's fair. But goddamn,
That's a
that's a
C
C. That's a C at best.
C minus.
No, because Henry gives him a little fucking
Yeah,
But
he's kind of on,
he's
I think
on the
he's-
decline.
I do too. I don't
C.
think
I can't shit on King Henry yet. C. bad though. So easily goes to the Jags. That was almost not even a competition. That's the most like runaway we've had so far in our breakdown.
That was easily the Jags taking.
Now normally we would go back to the NFC, but do we want to do AFC West and then NFC West, or do we want to do? How do we want to do this?
Yeah, let's do AFC West.
Let's do AFC because the teams will fall better that way.
Okay, we'll do the AFC West.
Okay, yeah. So Trev Chuck's gonna go with the Broncos.
Yeah, I'll do Chiefs. You got the Raiders, baby.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Broncos. All right, y'all. Yeah, okay, so this is where Samaj P. Ryan signed. He's penciled in as the 2 behind Javonte. Javonte Williams, when healthy, is a very, very skilled running back. He's got to come back from a popped ACL, which is never easy, but that 1-2 is actually pretty legit. And then Tony Jones Jr., I forget where he came out of, but he runs pretty hard himself. I think Seattle had him for a little bit last year. Wide receivers, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, and Tim Patrick. And then even their 3 number 2s, Hamler, Mims, and Callaway are all... That's a pretty damn deep wide receiver group if they all stay healthy, man. I hate to say that, but that's...
because Tim Patrick got hurt last year.
Oh, he popped his shit in training camp last year. Yeah, he had a full year
Judy's
recovery.
never kind of ever blossomed into what he's supposed to be, and Cortland Sutton.
And then you have Greg Dulcich, tight end, and then Albert Ogbonabunam, something like that. God damn, that's bad. I'm sorry, y'all. I need to get better at phonetically pronouncing names.
But probably the best of us.
So honestly, dude, like, man, I hate to.
It's not a great roster.
I mean, it's not terrible. That's a B plus. That's a B plus with that could very well work its way into a
nice.
That very well
1, 2, 3 for the wide receiver, and I like the running back if he can stay healthy.
So. I'm gonna be with Chuck on the B plus.
I'm there too.
I'd like to see if Judy and Cortland Sutton can keep making that next step.
Right, no, I don't want to give Denver anything more.
All right, Trev, what are the Chiefs got?
On to Kansas City. All right. With the running back, Pacheco.
Stud. See if he can do it 2 years in a row now.
McKinnon played pretty well for them. He's
He's
a good piece in Andy Reid's offense.
Yes, very much so.
Edwards-Helaire has just kind of fallen from grace.
Yeah, what is that, man?
Well, he's never been in the burner, and then
no, but he can play. He can make guys miss. Like he's got great hands. Is it his pass blocking or something? I don't know why he had such a fucking fall. I mean, Isaiah Pacheco obviously is the better runner than that. There's no doubt about that. Like that guy was so fun to watch last year.
And to round out that group, LaMichael Pirine, that's a good running back group.
Okay.
Then wide receiver, we'll notice the top 3 names, MVS,
Marquez Valdes-Scantling,
Kadarius Toney, and Sky Moore. So, Toney and Moore are kind of prove guys.
That's very small, too. MVS is a pretty sizable guy. That's very small so far.
But you still have the best quarterback in the league throwing to him, so it makes him look bigger.
Yeah, true that.
Well, yeah, he makes everybody better, dude. That guy's arm talent is just second to none.
Their backup wide receivers, though, Rashid Rice, Richie James.
They just drafted him.
Justin Watson.
Yeah, Rice.
So they're not deep at wide receiver, but they weren't last year, and they won the fucking Super Bowl. So shit.
Well, it's because the next dude he's about to reach
is an absolute monster.
Well, yes,
TE1. He has been for like 8 years.
TE1, Kelsey.
We
all know that.
It's irrefutable.
It's irrefutable position. That's for sure. Noah Gray and Blake Bell backing him up.
So a B. Kelsey and
because they don't have a stud at wide receiver.
It's Kelsey. We all like
good, not great at running back.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's only because Kelsey's an A+++ that they even get a B.
I agree.
Right, because we need Pacheco.
It might even be a B-, really.
Overall probably B-. Honestly, goddamn, Kelsey's good, but outside of that, you could piss on the rest of those guys. Like, meh. There's still going to be studs. Don't write off Kansas City. It's because fucking Mahomes is the dude. He's the truth.
All right, let's jump into the Las Vegas Raiders. Solid running back room with Josh Jacobs, Zamir White, Amir Abdullah, and
He's still
Brandon
around.
Bolden. Yeah, he played
Amir Abdullah is still around.
He played all right last year. He came in and had
Wow.
spurts. So
Wow.
not a bad running back room. Bolden's your pounder. White, hopefully he starts to become the number one. And then Josh Jacobs, obviously, number one rusher in the league last year. So not a bad room there. Receivers aren't bad either. There's 300 of them. You don't have any cornerbacks, but you got a ton of receivers. You got Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Hunter Renfrow is your three. But then even backing them up, you have DeAndre Carter from the Chargers.
Yep.
You have Keelan Cole, who played pretty well last year. He's more your veteran. Trey Tucker, you better be good because you just drafted him way high.
Way high.
And you have DJ Turner, Philip Dorsett, and Cam Sims. So your running back room is...
That's wide receivers.
Wide receivers are pretty, their wide receiver room is a pretty good room. And then moving on to tight ends, you have Austin Hooper, Michael Mayer, and O.J. Howard, and then Jesper Horsted.
I like those three, though.
So it kind of depends if Mayer's the dude that we all hope, or that we think he was coming out.
Sure.
And I think he will end up being the TE1 going into the season. I don't think
I think
Hooper
he should
or
be.
OJ have anything left in the tank.
Agreed.
So I give that. I think that those Raiders skill positions is an A-.
Can't give him that. Can't stop, won't stop. No, B plus.
I think I go B plus as well.
I just don't see a true wide receiver one there.
What? Devontae Adams.
I'm sorry. God damn it! Once again, I did you mentioned him? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Justin
him
Jefferson
and Jacobs make that skill position group go.
Then we got Michael.
And then you got Renfro, and I think you have a lot of receivers that are. DeAndre Carter is really good too as a read receiver too. He played.
There,
really well.
might be an A- there in there.
It might
There
be.
an A-
It might
in
be.
there. There might be an A- in there.
So let's jump into the Chargers, who might have the best.
The Chargers. Yeah, well, what do they have? A coach that can lead them down the field? Go for it on fourth and always. All right. So it's funny. You give the is it because the defense is such a question mark in Las Vegas that you're so iffy on that?
Dude, who's going to cover anybody?
Okay.
And your offensive line, your right guard. is
Before we get off on a tangent on that, as this pod's going to be long as shit anyways. We're getting into LA Chargers. Eckler, come on now. He's been the touchdown leader for the last 2 or 3 years. The guy's a stud. It can catch it, can run it, can block. His field awareness is fantastic. His tackle breaking ability is amazing. The fact that he didn't get at least somebody who's running back hungry to throw a bag at him for a year or two, front load it, and then cut him in a year or two, whatever kind of thing. I'm very surprised that didn't happen. It's because you had to trade for him, and it wasn't just a free agent thing. You had to give up something and then throw a bag at him. Yeah, that's a tough deal on a running back. But Austin Eckler, shout out. Joshua Kelly and Isaiah Spiller back him up, and I still think that those are both serviceable names.
Yeah.
Then you got an older Keenan Allen, Mike Williams stepping up, and then they drafted Quentin Johnston. So if they all three work with Herbert, that's pretty damn elite, I would say.
It's a pretty good receiver,
That's
especially since
pretty
you got
fucking
Josh
good.
Palmer. So
Right, exactly, and Jalen Guyton. Those are both guys that can come in and play too.
Yeah, I think both of the guys that they drafted this year kind of fit the Allen and Williams mold.
I thought so too.
And then tight ends are Gerald Everett and Donald Parham. Both of them are pretty good.
Yeah,
Athletic.
Very
both are
athletic,
athletic.
right.
They're more pass catchers. They're not really run blockers.
Parham can block. Everett can.
He's not blocking.
Yeah, Everett's not blocking anybody. I know that. I watched that for a year in Seattle. Overall, man, that running back room is stout. That wide receiver.
Yeah, is that an A-?
That's an A-.
That's
for me.
A-.
That's an A. Almost an A. Almost an A. Like, if Keenan Allen was that much better, it'd be an A for me. But he's shaky for me.
And Mike's got to stay healthy.
Mike Williams, and then Johnston's got to prove. But A- because Eckler, Kelly, and then A-. I like that decision. So overall, it's between the Raiders and the Chargers. Who would you give your two out of? Although I thought the fucking Broncos had some pretty good skilled positions too. I think I gave them an A- as well.
Another close group.
It's close because
I think the only one that's not even in contention is Kansas City, which is crazy to say because they're defending champs.
Correct.
Man, that's pretty tough, AFC West. Good job. I gotta go with the Chargers. I think I gotta go with the Chargers. I like Herbert as well. I know that we're not factoring that in, but I just think that he is head and above, the rest of the other guys there when it comes to facilitating their teams and the talent that's there. I'm going Chargers. How about you guys?
I actually think
I
I
know
might
the Raiders.
lean Raiders as well. I think if their offensive line could improve, their skill positions can pop even more.
Correct. Josh Jacobs, if he can have another year like he did
Jacobs,
last
man,
year.
dude,
You got White, you got Devontae. So yeah, I think it comes down to if Mayer pops, then you're really legit. All right, let's jump into the NFC West. Trev, start off with the Cardinals.
Starting out at the top, probably ending at the bottom.
Right. But I want to do Seattle.
Sure, we'll swap
San
the bottom
Francisco.
two, all right?
We're good.
Okay.
Yeah. Zach's we're good.
Yeah.
All right.
So anyways, Cardinals.
Are bad.
Yes.
Are bad, dude. They are so.
I mean, James Conner's been a solid running back.
But he's not a 1,000-yard guy. He's a goal line guy.
He's a nice two
guy.
At this point in his career, he's a pure bruiser. He's not getting over 4 yards per carry.
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, Arizona has other problems. I wouldn't
All
say
of
he's
them.
the
Those are the
biggest
problems
issue.
that they have.
Behind him, yeah, I don't know. Ingram, Clement, Williams, none of those guys really.
It's a weak back room.
It's a weak back room. Wide receiver.
You had one
Marquez.
you just cut him.
Yeah, you just cut him. Marquez Brown, he's got
Marquise
that,
Brown,
Marquise,
Hollywood.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
He's got that connection at least with Murray, so you think they have that at least.
Well, yeah, but Murray's not even going to be ready to come back.
Well,
correct.
Right, that's a whole other thing. But other than that, I mean, Rondell Moore.
He never's done what.
He hasn't lived up to his billing.
No.
He's had some good games, but not great.
Their third wide receiver, Greg Dortch.
Yeah.
He's okay.
Yeah, right. Can pop, but not consistent. Nothing to write home about.
Zach Pascal.
You got him from the Colts,
Correct.
but not a one. That
No.
guy's not a one. So, yeah, weak wide receivers.
Yeah, Andre Basilelli. I don't know. I'm probably butchering the last name. Trey McBride. Like the backup wide receivers are.
Trey McBride's
questions.
your backup tight end.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
I
Thank
like
you.
him.
Michael Wilson is the rookie that they drafted,
I
right?
think so.
Which is crazy because
He's
I thought
probably their
Ertz and
fourth
McBride
guy.
were going to be a great one too. I didn't necessarily think they needed to draft a tight end per se with all the
Well,
holes
with
that they have.
I mean,
but-
they have Ertz, but McBride's probably a nice second.
Correct.
Oh, for sure.
He should be taking over the T.
God damn, that's a C. That's a C minus.
correct.
I don't see any. That's a C minus. I don't see anything that pops on.
Trey
minus.
McBride's my favorite offensive player, and he's their backup.
Like a
tight end.
tight
Yeah,
Said C minus. That's green
That's
C minus.
nothing
dude.
that pops to me, dude. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Let's jump into the Rams, who don't really have a lot to talk about.
they don't either, man. Yeah,
you're right.
they sold their soul for that championship.
Your
man.
running back room is Cam Akers, Kerryon Williams, Zach Evans, and Ronnie Rivers. So not a great running back room, but not bad. Ronnie Rivers out of Fresno. Zach Evans was okay last year, and then is Cam going to be on the same page? What's going on there? So the running back room's okay. It's
Yeah,
not-
I mean, Cam can pop. Akers can pop,
And
but
Ky-
he's
Kyron
fumble,
Williams.
man. Fumbleitis.
Kyron Williams can pop too.
Sure.
Then at receivers, it gets a little bit weaker. You get Cooper Kupp, who's obviously awesome. Van Jefferson, Ben Skoranek, Tutu Atwell are basically your four. You got a couple other dudes.
So yeah, you got Cup. You got Cup.
you
Stud.
got
Cup, and I think Jefferson's.
Jefferson's gonna. I think he's gonna have a breakout year.
He's
to be
got-
fair.
he needs
that kid. Yeah, that kid can play. He's quick. He's got
Right
good
after
hands. He's
that,
tall.
It
Yeah.
sinks.
Yeah. So, but that's still enough to give him at least like a B plus ish right there.
Right,
That's
because-
better than their running back room.
because
that's
you have
for sure.
Cooper. You
Right,
got-
absolutely. He elevates that room big time.
And then tight ends, you got Higbee, who's a stud. And then Bryson Hopkins, Hunter Long. are your tight ends. So Higbee's obviously hanging.
He elevates that, but he's good, not great, right? Like, okay, so I mean, overall, that's a B at best, a B minus B right there.
Yes.
Is where I'm at, and
I'm at
just because of Cup.
I'm at a B minus.
Just because of Cup, really. Okay.
B minus.
I can agree with that. All right, so then we're gonna flip flop, right?
Yeah.
Let's go.
So you want to go or you want me to go?
No, I'll go.
All right.
I'll go. Let's go.
Go.
That's it. Seattle, baby. Let's go Seahawks. All right, man. I think we got a lot of hype coming into this year. I'm a little scared because it could be good or bad. Running backs, our RB1 is going to definitely be Kenneth Walker. He had a little bit of an ankle issue, but coming into this year, he should be healthy, and he is electric. His jump cuts are fucking nasty, dude. His change of pace and his ability to bounce and just go. He's another one that he was, I think, clocked in at the second fastest breakaway speed behind Mostert last year. So he's right there. He's a burner. We drafted Zach Charbonnet out of UCLA, who's a hard runner. He had like 14 touchdowns and 1,300 total yards or some shit. So like he could play. And then DJ Dallas is going to be our third /scat back / relief back. He is more of a special teams guy, but the guy runs hard. I like DJ Dallas a lot. That's my homerism, but he can play. So, I mean, outside of Kenneth Walker, yeah, those guys are unproven, but I do like that room. So that's biased, but that's not Kenneth Walker is going to ball. Wide receivers, you guys, I really, really like my wide receiving core.
It's a pretty good
There's
core.
obviously DK and Tyler Lockett who are established. They both are premier players. DK, I heard a really good interview with you the other day where you were saying that you were talking too much and not providing enough action out there, and that you want to take more of a learn from my actions rather than my words roll. And I think that that's great because you're a hothead when you start barking and you start getting penalties, and it's not good. But overall, we got Jackson. We drafted JSN out of Ohio State. He's a clear number. We've been shopping for a number 3 wide receiver for years, you guys. We have not been able to find one.
And I really do think he probably makes your group the strongest in the NFC West as far as receivers go.
Correct.
If he is as billed, yes. Because he does all that over the middle stuff, all that underneath stuff that we haven't had. Like, it could be very, very big for the Seahawks if that all comes together. Then other names in our wide receiver room to look out for. D. Eskridge. We drafted him a couple of years out of Western Michigan. He's kind of unfortunately been unhealthy, but he's a burner. The kid is quick as fuck when he's healthy. Derek Young. He's a DK light. He's a big, tall, thick, fast wide receiver, but hasn't seen a lot of the field just yet. And then Cody Thompson, tall, long, the Pete Carroll, once again, 6'9" kind of guy. He's not that tall, but you know what I'm saying. Pete Carroll loves his tall wide receivers. So overall, I love that wide receiver group. It's a little top heavy, but and then 3 really good but not excellent tight ends. Although I think Noah Fant has the ability to still take a step forward.
Yeah, he just hasn't really done it with the Broncos or you guys. He never took that another step.
We rotate tight ends like hockey players, dude. We seriously, with different lines all the time. You'll see Parkinson, you'll see Will Dissly, you'll see Noah Fant. We don't really give them an opportunity to be out there enough to do what Kelsey does, to do what Kittle does, to do what Andrews does. Like, we rotate. But all 3 of them are great pass catching, good blocking as well. I love my tight end room. That's an A for me. Just that, once again, might be homerism, but if you watch tape on those guys, they're all really good players. Overall, I have to give that's an A-, if not an A for me. The only reason why I'd be an A- is because behind Kenneth Walker, we don't have true proven depth at running back.
I 100% agree with you.
Wow. You too.
I know. That's a bit wow. I'm surprised you went A-. I thought you were going to go a little higher.
I'd like to sniff my own farts, but sometimes you got to come back down to earth and
give
the people the real answer.
I mean, we expect of course, good things from the running back selection, and if he is, that could propel them to that.
One also shout out, I didn't give him a shout out, but to Kenny McIntosh out of Georgia. We drafted him in the 7th round. He fell all the way to the 7th round, and that kid is shifty as all get out. He is rumored to be playing on every facet, special teams, offense, potentially in the slot. Like, he's supposed to be pretty nasty. Now, granted, that's a 7th round pick, but Isaiah Pacheco was last year, and he played very well as well. So
could be.
Yeah, A-. You guys, shout out to Seattle. I think that they are putting together a roster, and I love that.
All right. And to finish up,
The Niners.
And I mean, god damn.
I
love me some CMC.
How
Like,
could you not?
if Debo has any sort of injury this year, I am putting money down for him to win the MVP. That's I'm letting everybody know.
Who's the last running back to win the MVP?
Probably Peterson, right?
It had to be, right?
AP.
But dude, that's the only thing holding me back from making that pick earlier this season was just the other mouths to feed on this team.
Correct.
I love these skill positions. Of
Right,
course,
you
I am
gotta
biased.
spread the ball around. No, but
But-
you have a lot of mouths to feed.
Yeah, then Kyle likes to spread it, so I
You
can't
need to spread
accept
it.
that he's going to get the heavy touches unless an injury really goes down. Behind him, Elijah Mitchell, Jordan Mason, Tyrone Davis-Pierce. Like, these are all like backs that could be spellbacks. Mitchell, I mean, was looking pretty good.
Mitchell looked pretty good. So
when he
If
had
he
his
stays
chance.
healthy, he could even be an RB1 on a
Correct.
different team. So, like,
Correct.
no, I that's a good back group for
And
sure.
and that's really nice to have, especially with the injury concerns.
it is. Because CMC, are you going to get 17? You're going to get 15? How many games you getting? You know, that's what with him.
Yeah, but goddamn, we gotta love the player.
It's an A room. It's an
And
A room.
Then to move on to the wide receivers, of course, Debo. Oh my god, I love that man. Debo, Ayuk, and they have Jennings listed as the 3rd wide receiver.
I think he is. After I looked at the depth, I thought he would be probably the 3.
Yeah, no, it does.
It thins out at wide
It
receiver
does.
for you guys.
It does. Yeah, you're definitely stronger or deeper in that spot than the Niners.
You got Ray McLeod.
I mean, Ray
I love that
McLeod's a
name.
burner.
I love that he's the 3rd because I like to say that Granddaddy Ray somewhere. Granddaddy Ray out there in the stands.
They drafted Danny Gray last year at SMU, another burner. They brought in Chris Conley. They brought in Willie Snead.
Right. So okay. So some older veteran guys, but like you have Debo and Ayuk is what you have at wide receiver.
Correct.
Jennings can play. I'll give him his credit, but
Yeah,
he's
not
a
the
B
burner.
receiver.
He's
a
the
B receiver. He's not
out
an A
physical
receiver.
guy.
And Ayuk is
He's,
damn good, but still not like has not reached
He's-
that next level.
Correct.
Yeah,
Right?
he's dropped some balls, which if he
Doesn't
would
feel like
have
he's
made
getting-
that catch, I would have put him in that upper echelon.
Yeah,
So
doesn't
Debo carries that room, no doubt, but
For
I'd
sure.
give that room maybe a B plus.
Yeah. And then
Kittle.
I mean,
Still,
tight ends. Kittle, I think, is
he's
the
got
best all around.
poor health on that guy has kind of hampered his last couple of years.
Little bit. He's missed some games the last couple of years.
Yeah,
You got Dwelly, right?
yeah. Dwelly and Warner have been like the backups, and we drafted 2 other guys, so we're hoping one of them can emerge and take over that second spot. But
So you're really, really top heavy in your skill positions.
Correct.
I mean, it's with Debo and CMC alone, and Elijah Mitchell. That's an A- group.
And Kittle.
And Kittle, that's
Kittle
It's an A
makes.
minus.
I mean,
That's
it's
a-
probably my favorite, so I'm giving him an A.
It's an A- group, I think.
The depth at wide receiver makes me question an overall A. I give it an A-.
That's why I don't give it. That's why I don't get any.
But that running back room is legit. I mean, I think Dwelly can play. I think that tight end group is pretty good too. A-. So if you had to flip a coin, who are you going?
I like the
Is
running
it-
back room more for the Niners.
Okay.
I like the receiver room more
for
for
the
the
Seahawks.
Seahawks, but I like the tight end room more for the Niners.
So
I'm gonna
you guys going Niners?
I'm gonna
then?
have to say the Niners because
Okay.
I give those two rooms. But the wide receiver, your
that's-
wide receiver room.
That's
is
how
very
I.
heavy.
That's how I had. So I laid that out too, and I had 1 and 2 close. So yeah, I unfortunately agree. Yeah.
All right, so that's our skill position rankings.
That was a hell of a breakdown, you guys. So
Yeah, it was.
overall, okay. So who are we giving the best in the AFC and the best in the NFC, real quick?
Is it the Jags and Raiders in the AFC, and then the NFC? Is it the Niners and Seahawks?
Oh, the Niners, I
I
think,
think-
stand above the
Yes.
NFC, right? Unless because we didn't give the Eagles, didn't no,
No, because the receiver room is
it
very
was weak.
It's
So it's the
down to
Niners in
first
the
round.
NFC, and then who do we have in the AFC?
It's gotta
Was
be
it
the
Buffalo?
it's gotta be the Jags.
Or the Jets were
The
pretty
Jets
high.
were
I think the Jets. I think the Jets snuck an A- out of us.
The Jets,
But so did the Jags, I think.
the Jags. I give the Jags an
So
A.
Jets and Jags in the AFC, and the Niners in the NFC, and potentially Seattle's right there.
Yeah, some are right about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like those 4 for the top. of
Okay,
each.
good. Wow, 2 of them in the same division. Look at that, man. The NFC West, even though kind of split, right? Top heavy, 1, 2 big punchers, and then I don't think LA or Arizona is gonna make any.
ALA,
moves
it's
this
all
year.
about if they stay healthy. If Cup, Stafford stay healthy, then there's
Well,
always
dude, that was
upside.
great. So we're going to be doing some defensive skill position breakdown on next week's pod. So thanks for listening to this about the offense. I think that was great. We're going to come back. We're going to give you some common sense and
Some Fandom.
a wonderful fandom section. I'm very excited about this one for sure. So stay tuned for that, guys.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to jump into our common sense and our fandom. So I'm going to start the common sense off with there's all these rumors that James Harden's going to go back to the Houston Rockets and he's going to sign like a $200 million contract. Are you kidding? Like, what? You got a young up-and-coming team and you're going to bring him back in? Like, I don't know.
Lefty
the dude-
forced his way out of town.
Correct. And the dude just he's a me dude. He's not a team dude. He's a me dude. He wants to do his thing. He doesn't care what you're trying to do as a team. He's not a championship.
Yeah,
like,
not
player.
great for team building.
Yeah, dude, I don't know.
That's not where the Houston Rockets are at this time. I mean, I can understand him maybe wanting to go back, but it just doesn't really make sense from their
No.
point.
Not at all. Chuck, I know you had another common
Well,
sense.
to speak on, let's I guess elaborate on that just a little bit more. Is the idea of you can build a team with young and veterans. When you have the balance of both, it works really well. But he just burnt bridges. He scorched earth just to get out of there a couple of years ago. Showed up fat, forced them to trade him. Like, ran his mouth about this and about that. Like, it wasn't a clean break. It wasn't like there was this opening for like, hey, come on back when you want. Like, you're a legacy player here. Like, not that he had great years in Houston. That's obviously where he's won his MVP and like he had his best years. But the common sense of like, what makes you think that it's gonna work this time around? Like.
Right.
You've already given that experiment a shot for quite a few years. You gave him 2 full contracts pretty much, and he never got you past the Western Conference Finals. He never got you into the chip. Like, so I wouldn't change the trajectory on nostalgia or the hope that James Harden's going to come back and be the MVP again. Like,
Right.
that to me
That
does.
time has passed.
And that does scream common sense to me. Stay the course with you got $1 million draft. Dude, the Houston Rockets have like 5 million first round picks over the next 3 years because of all the trades they made. Seriously, they have like 6 or 7 over the next 3 years. It's ridiculous. Between them and OKC, they own the first round because of all the trades that they've made for different talents. Often Russell Westbrook and doing all these selling high on these people that didn't necessarily help their franchises, but. Common sense, Houston. Stay young. I agree.
And then $200 million too. That's a lot of cash.
That is a lot of cash. That is a lot of cash. My common sense, or kind of where my head went when I was thinking about something that was bothering me, was with all of this stuff going on in the MLB and not knowing your common sense or your line as to what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, specifically for pitchers to have on their hands, their wrists, their neck, whatever. All these foreign substance checks that are happening, guys are getting, I guess, caught, if you will, almost weekly now, where you wouldn't even go, you go a whole season without anybody popping, and now we're hearing, I'm going to fight back on this, and I'm going to fight back, you got too much rosin, and you got too much tackiness because of your, like you were saying, the sunblock.
You mix the sunscreen and the rosin together.
You've got to, as a professional athlete in any sport, know the parameters of what is and isn't allowed on game day on the field, period. Like, that is... It's I got popped for steroids because I ate this wrong meat, or the duck egg was spoiled, or what the fuck ever. You are responsible for everything that goes in and on your body. Common sense, man. Know what they're looking for.
Well, I also think this is kind of where they're kind of feeling out what they can get away with.
Correct.
And with as many games as there are in baseball, this is the time to try and see where you can push the limits. So when it comes down to the important games, that you know what's good and what's not.
Sure. So I guess dilly-dally in the regular season then, and locking in by the postseason is what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, yeah, like... Again, I agree. They should figure this stuff out, and I think now it's just kind of that time. So it's not a huge deal yet, but if it progresses, for sure.
Correct. You're just pushing the limit. You're seeing what you can get away with and what you can't.
Common sense, y'all.
Yeah, that covers, I think.
All right, let's jump into our fandom. So this week we're going to do another group fandom. Last week we did sports movies, which I think we forgot Moneyball. So Moneyball, sports movies.
I don't remember having a discussion about that one, but that is a very good movie.
I thought about it this week, and I was like, damn, we totally missed that one.
That's one of those ones that really made me like realize how good of an actor Jonah Hill actually is. Like, I think he killed that movie, to be fair.
So this week we're gonna do a sports video game fandom.
Little nerd subchapter here.
Which
we all love some video games for sure.
Multiple video games throughout our years, from whether it's back with I
got them
Nintendo
going way back, y'all. I got some fucking names
Techno Bowl.
Yeah. So if we're gonna go, you want to go football first? I haven't broken down by categories.
However you want to roll it.
All right, we got football first. So the overwhelming is going to be Madden, right? Whether you play it or not, that's the biggest franchise in the football sphere.
Probably played that one the longest. Again, started on Techno Bowl on my Nintendo. That was probably 1990.
Yeah, Techno Bowl easily there, and then all of a sudden, Madden was the one before the college football game. Madden.
Well, and then you had Evolution. I don't know if you remember some of these. As I was going through this, I was actually kind of surprised by some of the ones that I remembered, because I did none of this recent. This was all off the top. You guys.
Joe Madden.
Or
not Joe Madden. Joe Montana.
There's NFL QB Club. Do you remember Quarterback Club?
Yeah.
There was NFL Game Day. You guys remember that?
I don't remember.
That was the 989 Sports before they shut down. There was ESPN Football. That one was dope. And then these ones are great. Did you guys ever play NFL Extreme or NFL Street?
Never played that.
Those were
saw those.
Oh man, those were so great. They were just bumped up versions of like 3-on-3 backyard style ball with like crazy,
almost NBA Jam football
exactly
style.
100%. That's exactly what
I don't know. When it came to football games, pretty much. I mean,
Blitz
for new games, yeah,
Blitz and Blitz the
Blitz.
League right there. They had the mature version that they came back with, Blitz the League, where you could juice them up to get them back on the field. The NFL obviously fucking said, don't put our name anywhere near that one. Although Bill Romanowski was on the cover, and Lawrence Taylor. Let's not get it twisted, okay? What's that say? Anyway. Overall, I think NCAA ended up coming around and becoming probably the best well-rounded football sports franchise outside. I mean, Madden still continues because EA knows that that's where the money is. But
Correct.
We're going to be getting a new NCAA pretty soon. Bring back some Blitz, dude. Bring back some Blitz. Absolutely make a updated version of that, and I could see that going off big time. We can move into basketball. The big name there is obviously 2K right now. That's do it whatever. That's 1v1 2K, right? I don't know what any of that
I played
is.
one of them for 2. I had one of the NBA Lives.
Yeah, that's the other big name is NBA Live.
Yeah, that's one I think I had.
And then because they got rid of, unfortunately, the March Madness once again. Anything collegiate went out the door, but they were great games.
I did see for March Madness though, the Heat and Celtics are the last have two of the cover guys.
Because of Kevin Love and Blake Griffin. Yeah,
last two
from
guys.
09 and 10. 10 was the last time they released that game. 10.
I remember playing that game. I remember being
Me too.
I was always Maryland for some reason in that March Madness game, but I like playing that.
Then some other good basketball games. You mentioned it, NBA Jam.
Yes.
And then they did an updated version called NBA on NBC.
Good night, buddy.
All right. Good night, Gray. And then to couple with the NFL Street, they had an NBA Street. Do you guys remember this one? This was great. It's called NBA Ballers. Does anybody remember this one? Dude, it was such a good game. It was like a 2-on-2 style game where it was like based around like you scored by the dribbles that you could do and like all of the different drip that you could have. And like it was basically and one, yeah. I tried to think if there was an and one game, and I couldn't. I don't think there was, but NBA Ballers was very much in that vein. They were awesome. Hockey, I didn't have anything outside of the NHL that EA does or the NHL Live.
Yeah.
I know that there's got to be other hockey games out there, but I never.
I played the.
There was a zombie
There was the
hockey
mutant.
game.
There's a
What was
mutant.
that
There's a
fucking
mutant.
game?
There's a mutants one.
Mutant. That's it. The Mutant Hockey League.
It was on Sega. And
That's what I was trying to think of, and I could
Mutant
not think.
League.
I remember watching you and Matt play that to like the umph degree.
That was probably the hockey game I played most.
And then I played a lot of. There's another. I played the NHL game back. When it was.
98, 99,
like
2000.
Sega or something back.
I played it on the PlayStation 1 big time.
So I did play because I was always at Red Wings.
So then baseball, because they were great back then.
Yeah.
Baseball, you have the show, right? That's the most lifelike sim. And then throwback to Ken Griffey Home Run Baseball, man. Come on now. Super Nintendo, that was a great game. And then a shout out to Backyard Baseball. Did you guys ever play those games?
I think I played that.
They were super cool where like you started out as like neighborhood kids, but you could unlock kid versions of the MLB players that signed their likeness to the game. So like you could unlock an A-Rod or a Derek Jeter or like active guys at that time that had crazy good stats versus these normal kids. It was a pretty fun little game, Backyard Baseball. And then golf, I have another, golf is the next one up.
Yeah.
Obviously Tiger Woods PGA is the big one there.
That like 03, 04.
That was big for a while. I know that kind of fell off with Tiger and everything. They tried Roy McIlroy, didn't they?
I don't know. I haven't really jumped into the golf games.
Right.
I played. It was for my Xbox 360 for like 02.
And then you got to give a shout out Golden Tee, like whether you played or not. That rewrote the golf game, especially in arcades. That's a big deal to some people. Not a big deal.
Then you got like Mario Golf. Remember that one?
Love that one. Good shout. There's a lot of Mario games that I have on the back end of this.
I had another Nintendo game that was pretty hard to play where you had like and you'd hit it and then play. I remember that Nintendo.
I remember playing a Nintendo one. I think it was a Jack Mickelson.
There you go.
Nintendo.
And then there's this really great PC version. It's called Lynx. And they did it just by years. Well, Lynx 2000, Lynx 2000, whatever. Like that was a really straightforward simulation that had a lot to do with trajectory and wind and like it was kind of nerdy, but it was actually very well done for a golf game. So shout out to some of the golf games. Couple of soccer ones real quick. You got FIFA.
That one's pretty big now.
Absolutely, FIFA's huge these days. And then Mario All-Star Soccer. That's what I'm saying. So Mario puts out some fucking... The Nintendo knows what's up when it comes to the like cartoony style sports games. But we don't really get down on football or soccer in this household, so that's kind of one we'll just glance over. FIFA is a huge game, though. Like, we can't undercut that.
Yeah.
It's just not our style,
FIFA's pretty
per se.
Big.
Yeah.
FIFA's pretty big.
And then, dude, honestly, a great subgenre is boxing games. You got like OGs like Punch Out.
That's probably the first sports game I played.
Was Punch Out?
Probably.
And dude, Fight Night. I can't tell you how many hours I dumped into Fight Night, dude. I fucking love Fight Night Round 3. Oh my god, that game was like that game was so good. I still have it on my Xbox 360 and go back to it every now and again when I want to be B-Hop, just beat the shit out of somebody for it. Fight Night, shout out for sure. One of the EA games that was actually worth a damn. Now here's another one that like I'm sure we all played as kids, right? Wrestling games. They were everywhere. You had WrestleMania on the 64. You had
Raw was the
Raw
best
versus
one.
SmackDown. You had
All the
Warzone.
all the WCW,
All the WC Nitros,
games.
absolutely, they were all iconic back in the day. Dude, so many good wrestling games, man.
Yep.
Like,
Going through all their costumes and stuff, you know, like when you do jersey changes, you do the costume changes.
I'm
It's
sure
fun,
that
dude.
that carries on with AEW, and I'm sure that like there are those games out there now. But there's like we're talking about the classics.
We're talking like 64 was
right,
all,
right.
It was
No,
a-
PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2,
Yep.
maybe. Like
Yeah.
those wrestling games were great. And then I have a couple of honorable mentions in tennis. The tennis game, Mario Tennis.
Mario Tennis
Mario
was a
Tennis
good-
is a
Mario
fucking
Tennis was
great game, dude. So good, like great game. And then racing. So
Oof.
what stands on top if you're talking straight simulation would be like Gran Turismo.
Turismo.
That series is phenomenal. Basically they put on the map as to what detail could look like in a video game for cars and for racing. They were you know, and then Need for Speed was another
Need for
big
Speed, yeah.
franchise. But then you have like all of the offshoot fucking driving games, right? Like I don't even know you want to get into like
NASCAR even has some.
NASCAR has a couple. ATV versus the ATV off-road series was great, or like ATV versus motocross, or like stuff like that. Jeremy McGrath's motocross. Like you had some good bike racing games in there too. BMX, skateboarding, snowboarding.
The Tony Hawk game was
This is
pretty
my favorite subgenre. I probably still play these most to this day. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, the Skate franchise. Do you guys remember Skate? Oh my god, dude! They used the flick sticks for like how you did your tricks, not just like up square, but you had to like roll your thumb in the direction that you wanted your board to kick, and like Skate was dope. I still love Skate 3. It's such a great game. SSX Tricky. You guys remember that? Any shout out there? No. Dude, 1080 on the 64. Come on, no.
I just remember Tony Hawk.
That's it. God, you're lame. What about Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX? Great game. They're not on the extreme tip the same way that I am, I suppose. But and then I asked you guys earlier because I was curious. Do you guys consider kart racing games to be a sports game as well?
Yeah, we can talk about Mario Kart. We love Mario Kart.
Oh my God, Mario Kart's iconic.
One of the most 64's Mario Kart's one of the most epic games of all time.
Double Dash? Oh, fucking Double Dash is so wonderful. Just the original Super Mario Kart, man, is so hard. That Rainbow Road, are you trying to tell me that wasn't one of the most frustrating levels you ever come across as a kid? The driving off and the fucking Koopa comes and picks you up and drops you up. You lose all your coins and you get knocked off by Donkey, who's just hauling ass on the outside. Fucking Donkey Kong. What would you say is your favorite overall sports? I mean, I think we all.
Yeah, that's
That's
easy.
probably NCAA 14.
Yep, baby. The last NCAA college football game. They did that so, like, of course, there was issues.
Right, but the recruiting, all of it, just the whole.
It was deep. It was so deep.
Yeah, the team building was great. It was a great game overall. Of course, there was a couple, like, weird throwing, like, as you're falling plays. Yeah.
Well, if the computer wants to beat you on that game, they're gonna do it. Like, there's nothing you can do about that AI when they have just decided we're gonna break 7 tackles, we're gonna make you fumble, we're gonna pick off a ball behind our head with your opposite hand falling down. Like, come on, dude. Like that game infuriates me in a way that no other game could.
Wish it had a playoff, but otherwise that game.
The new one will for sure. I have to go Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, probably 2 and/or Underground. As far as like, I love NCAA or Fight Night Round 3 too. Like that's just so iconic. I've dumped so many hours into that game. Like I've spent countless hours. I was playing NCAA 14 earlier today before I came over. I have a dynasty going on still. So, I mean, yes, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 though. Holy shit, man! That game changed my life. Like and not in a bad way, I would say, but like I fucking love that franchise. That franchise kind of fell on harder times in its later years, but like Tony Hawk NCAA 14, and then Fight Night. Those are my three. Is where I go. I wish Madden would fall off. I love Madden.
Yeah, last Madden I played, I think, was like
Madden as a kid.
11 or something. It was 11. I don't remember what the last.
Somewhere around there, but no, I think that covers a decent amount of sports video games. You guys, do you have anything else you want to add on that?
I think that's
No, I think that's with the baseball ones were just too long. With the show, you have to like simulate so many of your games because you get to 100.
You can't play 162 games. No, and then you got postseason. No way. Absolutely. Yeah, you got to play a 40 game season, 50 game season.
Correct.
Maybe.
Yeah, you're playing. You like simulate.
And even that's still a lot, dude.
Yeah, 9 innings is a long ass game.
Well, if it's like, every batter's getting 12, 13 pitches and shit. Well, that was great, you guys. Thanks for stopping by and, listening to us ramble about skill positions. I loved that segment. Tomorrow we have game 6 of the Western Conference in the NHL. Yeah.
And then we have the game 7 in the Eastern Conference for NBA.
Big time. That's Monday, right?
Yeah, Monday, yeah.
Yeah, so watch out for those games. Those are going to be the big ones coming out. After that, man, the NBA Finals are on that cusp. The Stanley Cup Finals, those are big deals. Like we were talking a little earlier, we're going to go over defensive skilled positions next week. I think is going to be the bulk of the pod. So we just want to say, give us a shout on Buzzsprout is where we're going to be posting this. YouTube, Instagram, all that fun stuff. Balls&Brews. Spotify, yes, if you're a Spotify listener, follow us there. All the good stuff, right? So you can find us, you guys. We appreciate your time.
Have a great night, everybody.
Have a great night.
Yep.
Balls and Brews.
Balls and
Out.
Brews, baby.